Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 641. It is May 7th, 2020. My name is Nick Henderson, and tonight I am joined by Brad Simons.
Hello.
Who had a birthday yesterday that I forgot. And I am so sorry.
You told me you never forget.
The dumb thing is, last time I forgot, I put it in my phone, in my calendar. And it's been there every year since. And this year, I don't know what I did. I deleted all my birthdays, I guess. So I totally didn't get the message this morning, so I fucked up. Anyways, I apologize for that. Happy belated birthday, Brad.
Yeah, I don't care anyways.
Nolan is with us.
How's it going, everybody? 3, 2, 1.
No, we're not. We're done with the clapping. Everybody stop clapping. Christopher Davis.
Hello, hello. Did you know that there's somebody else in our community whose birthday is today?
I'm sure there's lots of people. Everybody has May birthdays.
The odds of that happening are fairly high.
Well, it's actually J52's birthday.
Today?
Yeah. Yes.
Shit. Well, happy birthday to J52 as well. I would also like to introduce ChaiThai, who's,
it's
illustrious
not
community.
J52's birthday.
Oh my God. Can I get to the introductions, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Illustrious community member ChaiThai is joining us. How are you doing, Chai?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. You are joining. You're gonna give us your insight on Streets of Rage 4 tonight, which we'll be talking about here shortly. But now, sorry, Brad, we've gotten to the introductions. What did you?
No, nothing. What's up? See anything good lately? Anything good?
You mean like, did I go to the movies?
I saw Extraction.
No. What?
He said anything good. I'm just kidding.
That was good.
I have no idea if Extraction is good.
Extraction is pretty fucking good. It's on Netflix.
It's the Netflix movie with Chris Hemsworth in it.
Yeah.
I've been seeing ads like crazy for that.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal right now. I have not really watched. No, I did watch. I watched First Reformed last week.
What made you watch that out of curiosity?
I think it came up on fucking podcast that you turned me on to.
Yeah.
That I can't think of the name of right now for
wait, don't tell me.
No, that's a different podcast.
That's a good show. That's a really good show.
You're killing me. What's
literally listening to that on the way?
It's called Film Spotting.
Film Spotting. Thank you. It came up on Film Spotting, so it went on my list, and it was on. It was free to watch on, I guess, Amazon Prime or one of those services. So I watched it. Really fucked up. Definitely wasn't what I was. I wasn't expecting it to be like a really uplifting movie, but man, dark. And I don't think it was necessarily the best movie to be watching at a time like this. But hey, it was still pretty good. Or the perfect
movie to be watching at a time like this.
Yes.
I guess a lot of people when this started went out and watched Contagion.
Dude,
I did.
Who does? Why do people do that?
And I was like, holy shit, this is literally what's going on in our world right now. Like, not even a joke.
Oh my goodness, you people are crazy.
It was deadlier in Contagion.
Correct. Yes, it was much deadlier than COVID-19.
But that will be what eventually kills us all.
Yes.
Wonderful. This is delightful.
But I will say the way that the world reacted is extremely similar to how the world's reacting now, even though that disease was way deadlier. This disease, I'm not saying anything. I mean, this disease is horrible, or virus rather, not disease. And everyone should be doing everything they can to prevent this from spreading. But the way they were acting in that movie is like exactly, not even crazier than how we're acting now. People like looting and going crazy at grocery stores and just like, man.
We haven't quite got there yet, but
how are grocery stores these days? Grocery stores, are they getting a little bit better?
Well, yeah, most of the ones that I've gone to have been pretty good about, a lot of them, they hand out like, wipes. Little wipes and stuff when you go in the store. Everyone's wearing a mask that I see, which is wonderful. So yeah, it hasn't been too bad, but I've still been trying to avoid going to them ChaiThai, what's it been like for you? You live in LA, so
moved out a little bit. I'm close to Orange County now, closer to where they had those beach protests last weekend. So I've been inside a little bit more, but for the most part, it's been okay. People in at least my neighborhood seem to be doing better at trying to separate, trying to properly social distance, not touch your faces, things like that, and just every now and then you just get the worst kind of people, like
the occasional asshole,
like someone at Target who is standing in line in front of a register instead of the one big line, and then complaining about it the whole time. And she was holding beauty products.
Oh God! But when I went into the post office to ship those copies of Days Gone, right? I had to wait in a line, and the line had like 6 feet in between people. They had the little markers on the floor or whatever, and everyone was wearing a mask. And this dude walked in with like, cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, like a shirt, just he walked up not wearing a face mask, looked around at everybody else wearing a face mask, and he said, "This is fucking ridiculous." And then he just walked out. And I was like, I don't know if he was saying the fact that everyone was wearing a mask is ridiculous or if the line was ridiculous. But I think he was.
I mean, maybe
I think he was upset. People.
I think he's making a political statement that COVID-19 is ridiculous, and he's right.
Like, yeah, we need to be aware.
I think he just goes into every stores and he's like, "Guys, this is ridiculous," and then he leaves.
We can
on to the next store.
Just making his rounds. Anyway, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Streets of Rage. We're going to revisit Final Fantasy VII and Animal Crossing a little bit. We're also going to talk about that Microsoft event that happened today. There's a bunch of stuff that was announced there. So we got plenty to talk about. Of course, I want to start the show off by reading some feedback from our last episode. Of course, if there's anything that you would like to contribute or chime in on after tonight's discussions, just go over to 4playernetwork.com, find the post for this episode, and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We'll read your responses at the beginning of next week's show. Our first comment this week comes from Powerful Musk Ox, who I believe is also a new patron as of this week. He says, "Hi guys, thanks for another great episode. I just wanted to say, or to let Brad know that he was the one who introduced me to Fell Seal. If he had not talked about it on the podcast, I would probably not know it existed at all, but I played it and I loved it. So thank you, Brad."
Good on you, man. Lemur Dragon also messaged me today saying he's got into Fell Seal. So
wonderful. Yeah. That's why we do this.
There are tens of people out there that are playing Fell Seal.
Did you say tens?
Tens.
Nice. He says, after this episode, I will definitely be checking out Horizon's Gate as well. Awesome. Which Brad, you're now closing in on what, like 50 hours or something on Horizon's Gate?
More or less.
Is Horizon's Gate going to be this year's Slay the Spire for you?
It's a very different kind of game.
But you sunk like tons of hours into that last year.
Sunk tons of hours. You know what my most played game of this year is?
Of 2020?
Yeah.
Still Slay the Spire?
Still Slay the Spire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's a game you can pick up and put down really easily, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's a roguelike.
I guess I just realized I don't really have a game like that. I don't think I've ever really had a game like that. But I mean, that's just,
One day you'll find one and, you two will get married and you'll have kids. It'll be great.
You have a show like that. It's called Buffy.
That's true. I'm almost done.
It's the same thing, but it's just Buffy.
I'm almost done with Buffy, and I'm very sad. Anyways, Equack has our next comment. He says, now that Nick has come around on Dusk, he should give a Medieval a shot as well. I did finish Dusk since our last discussion last week. Pretty good game. Pretty good video game. I don't know if I'm ready to jump into another game just like it. But a Medieval is on my radar.
It's not. It's not a Quake-like. It's more like Hexen or Heretic.
No. It's more like Turok. You'll like it.
Okay, first of all, I think Chris Davis I think Brad is just trying to say the right things to get me to play it.
No. I think maybe he's referring to the fact that it's not like shotguns and machine guns.
It's more focused on melee combat.
Right.
Not really that either, but I think you'll like it.
It's on my radar. I think it's on my watch list on Steam.
I played a lot of Medieval. It's I guess if you like more unique weapons, more abstract architecture, level design, I think I could see you liking a Medieval.
I do like those things. Dusk got really fucking wild towards the end. towards the end of that game.
More magical and alien, I guess. A medieval is not really alien, but yeah.
Well, it's on my watch list. Maybe I'll pick it up. I'm not ready to jump into another game quite like that yet. But I'm glad I finally got around to playing Dusk because it was pretty good. I'm glad I gave it a second chance. Update. I said last week I had tweeted at the developer to apologize for my initial comments where I said I wasn't really a big fan. Still hasn't responded to me. I think he's mad at me.
He probably blocked you.
He probably just blocked me. All right, Slop Dog had a comment. This is going to be fun to read because it's about me. He says, "This isn't a dig at Nick. He wrote this knowing that I would read it, that I'm the one into reading it. So, but I loved the awkward wording he used when mentioning the raiding mechanic for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'll quote it, and now I get to read it. Quote unquote. Obviously, a big part of Viking, history is raiding parties and conquering, communities and whatnot. I didn't want to say raping and pillaging, guys. That's not a fucking game mechanic.
But it's okay. They're nice to the women and the children in this one.
I mean, we're not certain.
They're right in the trailer.
I get it. When I was saying that, I was trying to say it in a delicate way so as not to imply that I think raping and pillaging is a acceptable game mechanic. I'm hoping they find a way to...
Wait, hold on. I have a question. Is that a game mechanic?
Well, I mean, you're playing as a Viking and you're raiding.
It could be based
on what they did.
You're raiding.
Do you realize how many games you're playing a character that probably has raped someone? But doesn't mean you do it in the game.
I know. But it's just like,
I mean,
raiding.
Nolan, based on that press release you read us earlier, I mean, that may be part of it.
I'm fairly certain they probably did everything they can to make everything in that game consensual.
What was the name of that game again?
Nope. That is a discussion for strictly off the feed, or off the recording.
We'll talk about it on the next cocktail time.
There we go. But yeah, no, you're right. You don't actually do those horrible things in this game, but you are playing as a Viking, and that was part of history. So you're obviously not going to do
part of their history or part of everyone's history. Let's be honest.
Brad's right.
Fair enough.
History's fucked up.
He says, please don't think I'm making fun of you, Nick. I love you. More focusing on how weird it would be for anyone to talk about raiding as a game mechanic. Already wondering how Ubisoft will put it in the story's narrative. So yeah, you know how you always hear about the Vikings used to kill and burn and pillage villagers. Now it's your turn, gamer. But don't worry, your own killing and burning and pillaging is totally justified. We call it gentle raiding. Now get on those leaderboards, bros. It's going to be... They're going to find some way to obviously contextualize it with the whole Assassin's Creed. I'm going to talk a little bit about it tonight, but I played the Assassin's Creed Syndicate Jack the Ripper DLC, which is... We talked about on Cocktail Time a long time ago about how cool it would be if they did like a Jack the Ripper DLC, but we weren't sure how they would contextualize it.
I remember that.
Because it's, about murdering prostitutes and stuff, which it very much still is, but they found a way to kind of like roll it into Assassin's Creed history and whatnot. So our last comment comes from Haste. It's a very simple one. It just says, "Happy belated birthday, Brad."
Oh, Haste remembered.
Yes.
He could have just said, "Happy birthday, Brad."
Or he follows up
we
on
could have
Twitter.
been like, the comment was from yesterday.
Well, I see exactly when it was left.
So, motherfucker.
Throwing the rest of us under the bus.
It was recent.
I do not accept it.
But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for your feedback. Of course, if you want to leave any comments after tonight's discussions, like I said, 4playernetwork.com is the place to go. You'll find a post for this episode. All right, now I would like to, let's just kind of roll right into it. Chai's here to talk about Streets of Rage. Brad's played Streets of Rage 4 as well. So why don't y'all tell us about Streets of Rage?
All right. Talk to me like I'm an idiot, because I literally have no idea.
All right. Do y'all know what Streets of Rage is?
I literally have no idea.
It is a classic.
Hold on. I would assume, this is a straight up assumption, because I literally know nothing. I picture side-scrolling like fighter beat 'em up. That's
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like Final
That sounds like an NES game, like Streets of Rage.
It came out at the same time as Final Fight. Maybe I think like within a year of each other. So very similar.
No one's gonna say like, what's Final Fight?
Yeah, no, I have no idea what Final Fight is.
Same.
Okay, have you played a Ninja Turtles game where you're in the street and you run to the side and you
played Turtles in Time and yeah.
It's one of those.
It's that.
Okay, gotcha.
And when we say it's one of those, Streets of Rage 4 is so much one of those. It's so old school that it could be tough to get into at first. It's you basically, it's to say what you expect. You walk from side to side, sometimes up and down, and
Double dragon.
Some people call them belt games because they're not,
the streets look like belts.
They're not side scrollers because you can move up and down.
Oh.
Yeah,
but you're going on a belt.
Yeah, but basically you play a mix of former police officers and one police officer's kid and a man with robot arms as they tried to go across the city and stop a crime syndicate by literally punching everything in the face.
And picking up weapons and stuff and beating.
That's how crime was fought back in the day. Okay?
Like Scott Pilgrim saves the world.
Scott Pilgrim
just like that.
Only one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
This is turning into how many other of those games can we name?
There's a lot of them.
The difference here being is that unlike Scott Pilgrim, there are no RPG mechanics. There's no progression in terms of abilities or anything like that. Everything is unlocked from the start, and the control layout is very simple. So a lot of it ends up becoming just get from left to right without dying.
Okay. What did these guards do to you?
They're in the way.
They're trying to do your job. Or they're trying to do their job. Like you're in a prison.
Crime.
No, that's
crime.
This is the streets. The cops are bad here.
I did say former police officer, so you're all vigilantes. At this point, you've been arrested. It's one of the fun things about this game is that unlike most beat 'em ups, anytime you have a police officer and a gang member on screen at the same time, they will completely ignore you and beat up each other. So sometimes you'll see that, So it's one of the nice things that they added to Streets of Rage 4.
Real quick, before we get too far into this, because this kind of, for me, this whole thing kind of snuck up on me because I didn't even know this was a thing, and then all of a sudden everybody was talking about it. Did this get some secret release or something that I wasn't aware of?
No.
Or were they building up to this?
First of all, Streets of Rage is the first one and especially the second one. It's a very famous game series. You know, if you had a Genesis.
Wait, the first one was the famous game series?
You own.
Yeah, I mean it was okay, but the second one's where it really exploded. It had great graphics, good gameplay. The soundtrack is something people remember because it was done by Yuzo Koshiro, who did games like ActRaiser and Etrian Odyssey and the E series. So he's done some great work and
he's got cred.
He's got a lot, and it was a real simple beat 'em up, and people just latched onto that back then. It's one of the simple games you play on the Sega. You pick up with some friends over, you play, and you go. This one is
very popular in the arcades.
Yeah, this one is without a doubt one perfectly Streets of Rage. It fits that formula so well that it's very hard to recommend to anyone who doesn't play beat 'em ups.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, I ended up playing this because it's on Game Pass right now, which is great, right? I love to see new games, third-party games, come to launch on Game Pass or whatever, right? And me and you, Chai, we've talked about brawlers, and I have nostalgia for this genre and even Streets of Rage specifically. I mean, I really like Streets of Rage 2. Although Streets of Rage 1 had the call-ins, you could call in the police and they shoot the shit. And I don't know, I guess that's not in this one, but I kind of miss in Streets of Rage 2. The thing is though, I feel like it's a genre that has grown up over the years very steadily, and you even back in the 90s they were adding RPG mechanics and stuff with the Dungeons and Dragons games and whatnot, but it's one that I always felt they just seem kind of shallow to me or slight, or they're never very long. They're usually 5-6 stages, although there's more stages here, and then you're just kind of done with them, right? But I went ahead and I wanted to try this one out because I like Streets of Rage, and I thought it'd be fun for a stream, and it was. But I'm finding it some of my because it's so faithfully old school. Some of my frustrations, they're still they're frustrations that have kind of gone away in other beat 'em ups over the years. One of them is the fact that you're very you're not very mobile, right? You're playing the most mobile character here, and I like her too because she has this. Not only does she have a run, but she can kind of steer her run up and down a little bit. So I feel more mobile I would in maybe a more modern beat 'em up. But but most of the characters don't have runs. Like it is like when she's walking around, you see what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I'm sitting like, what?
I can't see the footage, so
It's where you're bouncing back and forth on their heads.
Yeah.
Oh, so the thing is, what's really good about this Streets of Rage is that every enemy.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay, sure.
Well, what I'm saying is, you see her walking around right here. Most characters, that's as fast as they can move, and when you attack, you're kind of locked in place with most characters, meaning that if you punch and a dude like moves above you, you kind of just have to stop attacking, slowly move up, and then kind of like start your attack again. So it has like kind of a very like, I mean, it's very specific to like what these games kind of used to feel like. But
honestly, Brad, what you're describing is kind of the reason I've never gotten into these games.
Well,
I mean, that's like a big frustration for me.
Modern ones feel a lot more like fluid. But again, this one is so faithfully old school that it kind of still has those issues. I'm specifically referring to the movement. Like the combo system and stuff is deeper than it used to be, like for sure. But movement is like a very big thing for me in games, and that's why I'm specifically playing this character. But that's just one of my frustrating things. That's kind of always been part of the genre back then.
Well, one of the advantages of this one is that every character is different degrees of mobility. Like, for example, you're saying that she's the fastest one, and clearly she is, but for example, the big guy with the robot arms, he's actually a lot faster than you expect, because if he does aerial moves, he can suddenly just go flying across the whole screen. Or when he grabs people, like in Turtles in Time, when you touch someone, you grab them and you hold them down and you can hit them. Usually that holds you in place. But when you play the big guy, he can actually hold someone and then continue to walk around the screen. So you have that extra mobility.
You know what's funny? Very recently, I was watching, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I was watching a streamer that I watch, and he was playing a Batman beat 'em up. I think it was Batman and Batman Returns beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo.
I played that.
Yeah. And it's also one of these games, right? And Batman has a move where he'll do a throw, like he'll go into throw and he'll pick up a guy, and he can move around and he can walk up and pick up another guy and even slam them together, exactly like Floyd in this game. And I'm like, wow, this game is so one of these. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the thing is, the game is $25 at retail, more if you buy physical, and that's a hard sell to anyone that's not really into a beat 'em up. But in terms of being a hardcore beat 'em up, I think this is now maybe my favorite Streets of Rage, and among my favorite of all beat 'em ups. For being a beat 'em up, what it is, it's really solid. You see the combo system is really deep. There's a lot you can do. It's very free flowing, and there's a method to the madness when you start getting used to it, because one of the things that the beat 'em up genre suffers from is that a lot of people think, oh, I could just keep hitting the attack button and I'll get out of it. And then they'll just do things for enemies like, oh, when they get up, they have armor, so you can't hit them. Or you play a game like River City Girls, where if you try to hit an enemy as they get up, they'll wake up with a kick and it just knocks you back. But what this game lets you do is that with the combos, with the movement, and with the special moves,
the special moves that's very improved.
That's a big. I'll cover that in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, but so every enemy has, and the way they've designed this game is that every enemy you see, every different design, they all have a very distinct attack pattern. That if you know who's on screen and what to expect, then you know how to deal with it. Like the police officers, the ones in blue will just hit you, but the ones that are yellow will try to grab you. The ones that are black, they have a taser, so they'll charge at you from half screen and try to grab you. But there's always ways to get around it. Or you'll have people that kind of dance just outside of where you can hit them, and you have to kind of like creep up on them and wait for them to try to hit you and then hit them back first. And with every character having a different degree of speed, that means that you have to approach each situation differently. Like, for example, the roller skate girl, she could just run up to them and hit them. The rocker, she can just run up and hit them because she's so fast. But if you're playing the big guy Floyd, he's too slow to do that. But if you do one of his special moves, he actually extends his arm, grabs them, and pulls them back. And that's what Brad was saying. One of the big improvements to the special moves in this game is that traditionally in this kind of game, you always have a move that's kind of a get off me, completely invincible. Everything around you gets hit once and flies away. But in old beat 'em ups, that used to take out your life. So it became it becomes this mechanic of, well, I can either eat this full combo and lose 30% of my life, or I could do this get off me move and lose 10%, and then find some chicken on the floor later and heal myself.
Although I will say that
ask about the chicken.
Hold on, the best brawlers back in the day. So you use your super move and it drains your life, right? But some of them, if you're like only have a sliver of life, you can't do the special move. But there's others that let you spam the special move until you lost that life, so you could just get low on life.
A strategy to just go through. It's like an old Final Fantasy game where you kept your life low, so you keep using your limit rate.
You mean Final Fantasy VIII?
Yes,
but Streets of Rage, I don't think was like that. And here, you can't do that. But well, go ahead.
Yeah. So this one, because they want to emphasize the combos and the moves, what they've done is that when you do a special move, it's similar to Bloodborne, where you lose temporary health. You'll see that sometimes when I'll do a special move, my health turns green. I can recover that health by being aggressive and hitting enemies or objects. But if I get hit, I will lose all that health. And the special moves are really, really good in general. For example, the Rocker Girl, if I knock them down and I do a special move, I can actually pick them back up and keep hitting them. Or for Floyd, like I said, I can grab them from across the screen, or I could jump and slam the ground and go flying full screen. But that all comes at a cost, and it becomes a matter of when you're dealing with large groups or bosses, do I risk losing this health and trying to get it back to do more damage or get out of the situation, as opposed to it just being straight up, I'm just going to sacrifice his health so I don't lose more health. It gives you that opportunity to come back, and because the game's enemies are so well designed that you can, if you know what's coming, you can avoid every attack, you could continue to keep getting your health back and take minimal damage throughout the whole game. I think it's the first time in the Streets of Rage series that, without resorting to extreme cheesy techniques, with just, like a little bit of cautious attacking and being aware of what's going on, you can beat the whole game in one try.
His Floyd's aerial special is really good.
Yeah.
So I know I've heard we've talked about the the Rocker Girl and Floyd quite a bit. How are the other characters? I haven't heard y'all really mention anyone outside of those two.
There's Axel and Blaze, who are from the original, and you can unlock I think up to 16 characters in this game.
16?
Yeah, they're all versions of the characters from the classic, but when I say versions of the originals, they're still the original sprite work, and they have the same exact animations.
So they're pixelated.
Yeah, but they're also really well done to the point where they all fit within this combo system. And you were saying you missed when the guy with the card comes out and starts shooting. Mm-hmm. So you also in this one you have like super special moves that you have to pick up stars on the floor. You can only do them so many times, but they're totally invincible. Hit everyone out of the area. Things like that. Is that
a super move for Axel or whatever?
Yeah. So when you play the original characters, they call their partner. You see a police car roll up
from the first game.
From the first game, and he just bazookas the whole screen and everyone blows up. Which is funny because when you fight one of the bosses in the game who's a police officer, she does that to you, complete with the whole cutscene of the car pulling up, and the guy gets out and tries to rocket you, and now you're the one trying to dodge it. So there's a lot of little nice touches for people who played the old games to be here. And the original soundtrack from 1 and 2 is actually, at any time you can just turn it on and it switches back to the original soundtrack.
Which is good because that's some of the best video game soundtracks of that era for sure.
When did the last Streets of Rage come out before this one?
I want to say over 20 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap! So this
over 20 years.
So this isn't the same team, I would imagine.
No, it was a Genesis game.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the first one?
The first
one. Streets of Rage 3. I'm guessing when
the first one came out in 91. I looked it up because I was kind of curious. The funny thing is literally Bernadette was just texting me, and she was like, "Are they talking about Streets of Rage?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Because they said Axel and Blaze," and I was like, "What?" And she said, "I played the shit out of that on my Sega Genesis."
Yeah. So
apparently Bernadette was really into it.
So
you had Streets of Rage too.
Nice. So let me add this too. I think Brad can agree. So I played this with my girlfriend. And the thing about this game that's a joy is that when you play with multiple people, it is so fun. Like that's the real joy about playing a beat 'em up, is when you play with other people, and because the combo system is so free flowing and stuff, that when you just with two of you playing different characters trying to beat up on everyone, and you have one guy pinned against the corner, and you're both just mashing your combos so bad that he's already dead and he can't hit the ground because you won't let him.
I mean, that's why they were so big in arcades, because playing with other people is a joy.
In fact, I would not recommend this by yourself, maybe even.
Yeah. It's 2 players online, 4 players local co-op. And if you have Steam, you could do the Steam links. You could play 4 players that way online. But yeah, Nolan, because it's free on Game Pass, if you have another month to go, just download it, play it with Bernadette over a night. You can beat it within a night.
Yeah.
In fact, like what you could do is that when you unlock characters by unlocking points, but when you play story mode, you're only given so many lives to beat the stage. At any time, you can decide to reset the stage, and they'll give you modifiers to make the stage easier in exchange for getting less points. But if you're just there to have fun, you just like, hey, you know what? Modifier, give me 3 more lives, give me more special moves, throws you back in immediately, and then you suddenly have, instead of 1 try, you have 4 or 5 tries to beat the stage. So it's really forgiving in that way. And unlike regular beat 'em ups with the story mode, every time you clear a stage, it will reset your lives back to a default number, as opposed to being like, well, I had 0 lives and I'm starting the stage, so I'm fucked. So in terms of like, because it's free on Game Pass, because it's Game Pass is so easily accessible, and it's on PC and Xbox. If you have a way of getting that and playing it over a night with someone, it's a great game. If you love beat 'em ups, it's one of the best.
Maybe I should see if Robin's interested in playing. I have no idea how she feels on beat 'em ups, but
it's very classic.
This looks cool, like visually speaking, like it looks really cool, and hearing y'all talk about it sounds awesome. But when somebody mentioned the Batman Returns game, I'm like, I love that game. Maybe I should play this.
Yeah. You know what that game doesn't have? 2 players.
That's true. That's true. But man, back in the day, I think if there's one beat 'em up that I've played more than like Turtles in Time or whatever, it's that Batman Returns game. And that game is pretty dope.
I will say if I have one more complaint, and again, it's not really a fault of like what they were trying to make, I guess, because they're trying to make a really faithful classic Streets of Rage game. It's kind of like that most recent Sonic game, right? I heard people comparing it to that Sonic Mania, right? But and that was also a very faithful follow-up. So if you were frustrated with things about the original Sonic games, you probably had them again, right? But I was surprised, like, the stages are very simple. Like the level designs, there's not a lot of interesting stage gimmicks, which is not something you'd expect in like maybe Streets of Rage back in the day, but definitely in the past 20 years of beat 'em ups, you play something like Castle Crashers, which I think is still one of the best beat 'em ups. There's so many like cool, fun level ideas, right? Where you're like riding things and fighting crazy bosses and just doing crazy stuff. Here you're pretty much always just walking to the right, beating up different types of dudes. And I was kind of expecting this to have a little more variety in terms of those gimmicks and stuff that you'd see in any game.
That's not even exclusive to just being a new game. Older beat 'em ups like Double Dragon 2 has a stage where in a helicopter and randomly the door will just open and suck you out, so you got to be aware of that. Or platforming, things like that. Streets of Rage was never known for that, but in terms of this one, it's kind of obvious that it's just straight lines.
And even though it was never known for it, it's still one of those situations where it's like, this is a new game in the series. The genre has taken steps in the past however many years. Like it's kind of expected of any game in the genre, I guess, at this point. So maybe that's why it's jumping out at you a little bit.
Yeah, there's a few traps later on, or things you can like swing back on the enemy, or things like that. Like there's some, and it's more than the series has ever had. But yeah, it does feel like less than compared to others.
Because that makes like the kind of stages to me feel like they kind of run together a little bit.
Yeah.
But
there's a wrecking ball on one stage though, and that thing's annoying.
And it's annoying. Wonderful.
But I mean, Molly and I, we were having fun when we played this, and
absolutely.
It looks like it took a lot of people by surprise, like because it came out and all of a sudden,
I think people thought maybe it would have when they first announced this and they showed the first little bit of footage that maybe it would be kind of bad, just because it's been so long, and the developer at that point wasn't like super well. It was like an indie developer, right? And no one really can you really trust them with something like
also the last real major beat 'em up that was really touted was what was it?
Scott Pilgrim?
Fucking hell!
River
no,
City
it wasn't
Girls.
Scott Pilgrim. It was
River City
Crown?
Girls.
River
No,
City Girls, Dragon's Crown. I mean, these games, they come
Yeah.
out all the time from indie developers, I'm telling you. In fact, I think the developer of this did an indie beat 'em up before they did Streets of Rage.
They did.
Pretty good.
This will only mean something to Brad, but I think Ryan Hart was so much into it that I think they made him a character in that game, but I'm not sure.
Actually, I was thinking of the Double Dragon game. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Double Dragons earlier.
It's so funny when we started this conversation. I was thinking to myself, like, God, how many brawlers are even out there anymore? And now I'm like, oh, there's a fuck ton. Okay.
I can't believe I forgot about. We lost Chai.
Whoa,
he's back.
Am I here?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah,
Okay,
You
I was
popped
gonna
in and
say,
out.
yeah, like you have like Double Dragons and Goku, King of Monsters, Streets of Rage, Streets of there's another Streets of Fighting Street.
God,
there's so many of these. There's
I forgot that they did a couple years ago. They did Double Dragon 4, which was like a very similar type of thing. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so faithful. It's terrible.
It was like Double Dragon 3 again came out like 20 years ago, and it was like this, right? It was like we're gonna make the next one, but it's 20 years later. And this one was very retro and no good, but
but then you also have ones from Capcom, like legendary ones like Dungeons and Dragons, which not only has classes and it has moves like fireball moves and like Hadoukens and stuff, but it actually has stats and it has secret areas and characters and bosses and like loot that you can find that suddenly makes you immune to damage. Then you had like Alien versus Predator from them, which is Arnold's.
Whoa,
that's one of the best ones of all time.
Yeah,
it's like an Arnold robot.
God, this is just a genre I'm not like.
Turtles in Time was a very famous one. So
that's one of the best. Yes.
Nick, surely you played the X-Men game, right?
The
X-Men. You mean the arcade?
Yeah.
I mean, I played that.
Just making certain.
I have probably played that X-Men arcade beat 'em up more at Button Mash when we go to E3 with community members than
I'll never forget
anywhere
because
else.
I will never forget because Nick picked Dazzler because he didn't want to play Cyclops.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What's wrong with Cyclops?
Fuck Cyclops. I'm just kidding. I was mostly just doing it to annoy Crispy.
But yeah, just real quick, like if you were gonna get into this series, you have to emulate a lot of these. But like, where some of them are on Steam, like I said, Dungeons and Dragons, Alien versus Predator, Scott Pilgrim, River City Ransom, River City Girls, Sengoku 3, and now Streets of Rage 4. Those are games I would recommend if you want to learn what beat 'em ups are.
Cool. Well, I have Game Pass still. Maybe I'll download it. Just
download it.
Maybe I'll see if Robin wants to play it a little bit, give it a try at least, see how it goes.
Yeah, just set it on easy, change your things so you have more lives, and just have fun for a night, just beating up things. Yes, like my cat's banging at the door.
Your cat is banging at the door.
Yeah, and you know he weighs like 20 pounds, so.
Oh, damn. Well, so do y'all have anything else you want to add about Streets of Rage before we move on? Sounds like.
What did you think about the What did you think about the new music? Chai?
I do like the new music. And
I like some of
it's
a lot.
Yeah, some of it's growing on me, but it's important to know that it's not all Yuzo Koshiro on this one. He did the theme song, the opening stage, and the final boss theme.
Is he the one who did music from the one you were talking about from the original? They did like the East and all that.
And like the guy has talent. Like the original guy, he's done trance, jazz, and fantasy music all within like 5 years of each other.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, and they're all great. But the new guy, he's definitely trying to copy that style, but for the most part, he gets it. He understands what it is. The thing about Streets of Rage music is it's never super intense music. Like at the most, it'll be like a more upbeat like song to fight a boss, but a lot of it is just super chill music that you wouldn't expect to be hitting someone on the pipe over the head with a pipe with.
I prefer chill music, to be totally honest.
I think the main composer on this, outside of the guest composing, is the dude who did the Remember Me soundtrack.
It is.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, so Nick should like it.
Ha!
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
All right, but that's what I've got to say.
Cool. Well, before you roll out, I guess I should ask you, have you played any, because I know Nolan's going to revisit a little bit Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know he's played more of that. Have you been playing that at all?
Yeah, I sat and beat it in a week because that was my first week off, and yeah.
Okay, well, don't spoil anything, but I guess if you want to hang around for for that discussion. Nolan, do you want to talk about that next? Because you were gonna touch on that, weren't you? Because you
I
played
would
a
be
bunch
glad
of it
to
last
talk
week.
to somebody that's actually beaten it here on the
We're not
podcast.
talking
No.
about
Not with these
Stop
three
it.
on, Chris. Stop
No
it.
one's talking
Stop it.
about that, Chris
No.
Davis. Yeah, I've played more. I'm in chapter 14 out of I think 18.
I think that's where I stopped when I stopped playing 2 weeks ago.
Wait, 14 out of 18? That can't be right.
That's right.
Why not?
That is?
Yeah. What's crazy about that?
Where are
Because
you?
I think I was on chapter 14, but I'm like the plate hasn't even dropped yet.
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
were
First
not.
of all, spoilers. Second of all,
Well,
First
that's
of
a
all, no,
spoiler
you-
for Final Fantasy
14.
7
It's not
OG.
14.
Nick, you
And-
left off
and-
on the graveyard, right?
Nick,
No,
that's
I
like,
just finished the graveyard.
That's like
You're in
chapter
chapter 11.
9.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
chapter- yeah, or 11. Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind then. I'm not as for some reason I was thinking the chapter number that I saw was 14.
No, 14 is the next one that opens up like chapter 8, something like that. Whatever. You get to do a bunch of side quests.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's where I'm at.
This
The
is where I
footage
left
have.
off when I was
The footage I
talking.
have is just me doing the Coliseum, so there's no real spoilers or anything like that. It's just me kind of like fighting in the Coliseum. Just because I just got there and they have a bunch of new in 14, a bunch of new Coliseum stuff opens up. And so I was like trying out some of those new ones.
This is where I left off when I talked about it that initial time when I said that it feels like not a time that makes sense for us to be doing a bunch of side quests because
I 100% agree with you that this was probably the worst time for them to be like, hey, let's spend 10 hours doing side quests, mainly because it's like, hey, this shit's going on right now. We should do something about it. But first, let me take a side quest selfie over here for like 4 hours. And it's not like they unlock 2 side quests. It's like at least 6 or 7, and they're like pretty in-depth side quests. One of the fights I did as part of one of the side quests was probably one of the most intense fights I've done in the game so far. And it's like during the side quest, like right when like it is not a time to be taking a stroll in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually stopped doing side quests there, and I was like, you know what? There are more pressing matters.
Thinking about stopping too.
It's not real. So I'm just gonna do all the side quests first and then move on. But yeah.
You know what?
Okay. What's up, Brad? No.
You know what I just suddenly realized looking at this gameplay and noticing that Barrett has, over 5,000 hit points. They've bloated the numbers far faster and beyond where than compared to where you were in Midgar in the original game.
Oh yeah.
In the original game, you probably have like a few hundred, right?
This also kind of goes with what I was saying about the whole materia situation.
Exactly what I'm referring. What I was leading into is that the conversation we had about kind of where do they go in the subsequent games. But if you're already approaching 9,999 hit points in the next,
I think they're going to do something similar to Final Fantasy Versus 13 or Final Fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy Versus 13. No, sorry. God damn it. Final Fantasy 13 2
and Lightning Returns.
And Lightning Returns, where each one is just kind of like a new fucking game.
Yeah,
I would like, hey, forget all that shit. This is all like, he'll be back, don't worry. We left Midgar and now, where'd all my materia go? I dropped it. I guess I gotta start again.
Or like what
why
they did
not,
with Mass
Brad? Why
Effect.
can't they do that?
I feel like it's so strange that you're resisting this, because I totally think that's what they're gonna do.
But that's how are they gonna handle?
They're gonna keep materia as like the base. Like all of the battle systems are going to be built on this concept of using materia in some way, but they're going to use them differently. You're going to level up materia differently. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next game starts and like everybody starts at a baseline of like 1,000 HP or something, and then you just kind of build from there. Even though you got to 9,000 HP at the end of this game, it's going to be like setting everything back to zero, and they may give you some like higher level spells or something.
Bonkers. Because this is a remake of a single game, and if any what is now a series of RPGs should carry over from the previous game, it's fucking this one. It's the same game.
I know, but like I also feel like when they were doing this one, like who knows? Like when they decided they were only going to do Midgar for this first one, it kind of became this question of like, well, we don't know for sure if this is going to be successful enough or whatever to like guarantee going further. So let's just go all out.
Here's the question. Here's a question for you, Brad.
Add star levels that don't show up in this game that would evolve what like the spells and stuff would do beyond what they do in this game.
Yes, that would work. If all of a sudden your materia unlocked to new levels and your hit points maybe stopped, they went to 20,000 or 30,000.
Well, I mean, they did in Final Fantasy X, right? You could break that limit.
You could, and that's what I was going to say. That's my only assumption. Either they're going to start you from scratch in some way, which would be shitty, or they just add more. But then that becomes okay. Well, I currently have like fucking 60 materia, however many I have. How many am I going to have at the end of fucking Final Fantasy 7-2? Am I going to have like 200 materia? I already spend an ungodly amount of time before big battles sorting through my materia, figuring out who I want to have where. Like, it wasn't until I saw some like kind of comments. I was like looking at Imager, and someone had some comment about Final Fantasy 7 playing with balls, that I realized like, holy shit, I spend a lot of time in my menu messing with my materia, and I can't imagine having double that amount of materia.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Well, see, I don't think it's going to be double. I think you're going to get the most in the first game. They'll introduce maybe like half as many, but like I said, you add star levels, and and so you now go to Bolt 4, maybe even Bolt 5. They don't call it Bolt in this one.
Correct, they don't. But yeah, no, I could see that, Brad, because I could see them unlocking. Because I mean, even in the original one, they went more than 3, right?
Yeah, no.
They stopped at 3.
In 7, they stopped at 3. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. It's been a while, but some of the materia it took, obviously, like, and that's kind of one of the frustrating things for me. One of the materia that I like that I care about the most is is the materia that's only still level 1, and that's my like elemental. I'm 30 hours into this game and it's still level 1. And
like Brad said last week, though, like the appeal of the next 2 games or whatever, how many, is going to be seeing the story unfold and going to new places more than it's going to be about
the
getting a refreshing battle system.
And like the next game, and I haven't finished this game, so I don't know where it goes. And Chris Davis knows, and Chai knows. Chai's gone,
and he's dying inside.
But Brad actually knows. So Chris Davis and Brad know. Right before chapter 14, yes, you do, Brad. There's a cutscene, and you see a character who I didn't think was in this game, and I was like, why the fuck are they showing this character in a single cutscene for like 3 seconds? And I'm like, wait, what? And I don't know if he gets addressed again, if they get addressed again in the rest of the game or what, but we'll see.
I do have a theory about that character, by the way.
But you're gonna not say it right now.
I'm not going to say it.
No one's saying anything.
I'm just making sure Chris Davis knows.
But yeah, one of the reasons I haven't put down this game yet, Brad, I'm not playing 50 hours of games a week. So I'm only playing a little bit. But the reason I haven't put it down yet is because I am curious as to where they're going with the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to know where it ends, because I've heard some things, like nothing spoilery. I've just heard like, oh, I can't believe they did this.
Opinions. You've seen opinions.
And so I'm kind of ready to see where that goes. But obviously, like I said, I do want to kind of do all the side quests. I'm not going to try and like max out every materia or anything like that. I do kind of want to.
You get another materia, like all materia. I forget what they call it in this. All?
I think it was called all.
I mean, yeah, there was an all materia.
No. Are you referring to Magnify?
Magnify, yeah. Do you get another one?
I think you maybe do. I'm not sure. I know you get another elemental for doing all the side quests.
Fuck that. I just want another Magnify.
No, I agree. I want another Magnify as well.
Yeah.
Where? Let's not talk about that. Well, if it's a spoiler, let's not talk about it.
No, it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
You can either do it through the story. I think you can get one again through the story, or you can just buy it off Chadley.
Okay. No, he does not sell Magnify.
Eventually, he does.
So maybe he does when you finish more of his intels, and that's one of the things. The current intel I'm on for him, the only one I haven't completed yet, is get all 12 of the base materia up to max level, which is super frustrating because some of them I didn't get until just before. And so now I guess I just got to go to the fucking Coliseum and strap like a AP up on one of my things and try and boost that up.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played the original Final Fantasy VII, but I remember back in the day, I had this delusion. I was like, I was gonna like 100% that game, and I was gonna max out every materia, which back in the day seemed very feasible to me, but it never panned out, obviously. But I seem to remember when you maxed out a level of a materia, you get another one of those materia,
That
right?
does not happen in this.
That
But
is,
yes,
yeah, okay.
you are
That
correct.
was my question.
And OG Final Fantasy VII, as soon as it hit the
max
level, whatever max it was, you got a new one of that at level 0.
Yeah. Which was kind of cool.
I forget they had a term for it, but yeah, that does not happen in this.
But you're still enjoying it. It sounds
No,
like.
dude,
do you like Melee
definitely
Barret? Do you like Melee?
No, I hate Melee Barret.
Okay.
I just unlocked this weapon, and I'm trying to get the proficiency in its special skill.
Gotcha.
I literally got this weapon like right before this footage. I'm just trying to use it enough to unlock this skill, and then I probably will never touch it again. The funny thing is because of kind of what we talked about with like materia and stuff, that's how I play this game. I don't go for the best weapon, the highest attack, or magic. I go for the weapon with the most materia slots. That's all I do. The armor I have on is the shittiest fucking armor, but it has the most materia slots, and I have so much fucking materia. I'm trying to level up. I gotta just have more materia.
No one goes straight for all the extra materia.
My armor piece gives me like 0 bonus to fucking defense or magic defense. It has 3 slots, and the other one only has 2. And I want the fucking extra slots for materia.
And you make a beeline for those extra slots when you're upgrading weapons.
That's
every time.
For the original, though.
Every time.
It's like the Apocalypse sword in the original, which had triple growth.
Have y'all been using the elemental materia?
Well, that's what I was talking about. I literally equipped it the first time I got it, and it's never not been on someone. I am now at chapter 14, 30 hours into this game, and it is still level 1. It's about to hit level 2. Like if I after this podcast, if I play the game for like half an hour, like just kind of maybe in the Coliseum grinding, I can probably hit level 2 of the elemental. But when the fuck am I going to hit level 3?
That's going to take a while. That'll take a while. You have to spend a lot of time in the post game to get to that point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how much that's kind of what I was talking about with Brad. Is I kind of understand them doing that for maybe some of them. Obviously, you can't really do that with like your base magic, like ice and fire and stuff like that. But some of the other ones, I could see them like, oh, maybe. But then obviously, people would just grind them out in this game instead of waiting for the second one.
Right.
So I don't know. But yeah, so hold on. Excuse me. Going back to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, I am enjoying the game. It looks beautiful. I've kind of stopped paying attention so much to the poopy like graphics. I've kind of pushed those aside.
The muddy textures.
Yeah. The cutscenes are good. The music's still fucking amazing. I'm loving the music. I do like some of what they fleshed out, the kind of story beats that they fleshed out with Wedge and Biggs and Jesse. I like that. You get to know them a little bit more. In the first game, they're almost kind of just like swept under a rug almost.
And I did not expect to care about any of those characters as much as I do, but I love them.
In all honesty, I liked Wall Market much better in this game than the original one, where you had to go, oh, I got to go find a dress.
Is that a controversial opinion? Most people
not
enjoy
necessarily. I think a lot of people just didn't like how stretched out this game is, and I understand. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the areas. It does seem a little bloated. The whole like, oh, follow me as I walk super slow from point A to point B is still kind of frustrating. But I do like everything you get to do in Wall Market. I do kind of like, oh, all the shit with Madam like M and having to go over here and having to, get the approval and stuff.
Getting the hand job.
Yeah, getting the hand job. But yeah, I did honestly enjoy all of that. That's where the game gets a little more kooky and less, straightforward and less,
Yeah, but that being said, like they streamlined that whole section of content way too much in this remake, in my opinion. There should have been more stuff to do. I feel like
there was more stuff than you had to do in the original one.
Now that being said, I only did one of the 2 paths, so I don't know what the other path is really like.
I mean, like a lot of the stuff in Walmart. I said World Market again. A lot of the stuff in Wall Market is like padding.
I think it's padding, but I think a lot of it's more in depth than it was in the original game.
Yeah. I mean, like the stuff that really matters in Wall Market is like the Honeybee Inn, right?
I mean that's good stuff,
and the gym, Like the stuff that you frequently remember most about it.
Sure. I agree with the chatter's name I can't ever read. And the original like Wall Market felt like kind of seedy and underground and kind of dirty, and in this it feels like a much more happy place to be, kind of. And I don't know if that's in combination with the fact that when you go to like the bar and like the tailor's like drunk dad is there, it's not just silence and some music in the background. It's people talking, you're interacting. There are definitely people who are like happier and much more in depth. The whole like little like subplot at the gym doing that stuff, and like you said, the stuff with like Madam M. The Honeybee Inn is more involved. I will say them dropping out the one section at the Honeybee Inn is kind of shitty.
Wait, which section did they drop out? It's been a long time, so I don't remember everything that happens there.
So you could go into like one of 3 rooms when you were in the Honeybee Inn in the original game.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They streamlined that.
One of them was
they cut some stuff out.
More fun than the others. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I liked kind of the stuff that went on there. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I still am frustrated that we're not getting Final Fantasy VII. That we're getting Final Fantasy VII Midgar. But everything I've played so far has been good.
Cool. Well, I need to jump back into it myself because I put it down for a short time to play a few other small things, but I'll get back to it eventually.
Don't get me wrong. Let me rephrase from back when we had our first conversation about this. I'm still frustrated in combat. I still hate that I have to babysit the people. I still hate that when I'm not controlling them, their ATB gauges go up at like maybe 1/100th of mine. It's very frustrating when I feel like I've done 10 actions and I'm like, oh, Tifa definitely has the ability to fucking cast, this thing now. And I look over and no, she's like halfway through one bar.
Those are the kinds of things I hope they iron out for the sequel more than anything.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing.
Sorry. Are you playing FTL?
I think he's getting a phone call. Well, unless y'all have anything else you want to say about Final Fantasy VII Remake, we should probably take a quick break. And also I should probably mention at some point during the conversation, we lost Chai. His audio, his internet cut out, so he was dropped. But he's cool. He said thank you for having him and everything. So again, Chai, thank you for being on the show. I know you can't respond right now, but thank you for being on the show to talk about Streets of Rage. We appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have you on again sometime soon. But now let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got a couple more games to cover. We're going to go over some of the stuff that happened at the Microsoft 2020 event they had today. And, of course, we'll do community questions and all that stuff. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. We have more games to talk about before we move on to the news. Where to go from here? I have a couple quick things to mention, I suppose. Chris Davis, I don't even know if you need to show the Assassin's Creed Syndicate footage that I got. You can if you want, but I probably won't be talking about it for very long. But I will say this.
Let's see it. I want to see Jack the Ripper.
Okay, so here's the thing. So after Assassin's Creed Valhalla was announced last week, I was reminded that, there's some DLC for previous Assassin's Creed games that I've never played and that I've been interested in playing. And then also I said last week, Mr. Green Toast was very kind. He gifted me some PlayStation credit, which I used to get the Assassin's Creed Syndicate DLC, Jack the Ripper and Dreadful Crimes. I played through both of them this past week, one of which, let me tell you, it's hard to jump back into the deep end of one of the older Assassin's Creed games. Those games still feel and control kind of weird, and there's a lot of moving parts, I guess, to those games that I had completely forgotten. So it was a bit of a train wreck at first. But I eventually got back into it. That game's pretty good. That game's still pretty good as far as classic, old school Assassin's Creed games go. But both of these DLCs were kind of, the reason they were interesting to me was because they were built around this idea of investigative mechanics as opposed to just going around killing dudes, right?
Well, it is Assassin's Creed.
What? But yeah, I know. But the DLC changes the formula a little bit by, instead of focusing on going on assassination missions, you're helping Scotland Yard investigate murders. And the first part, right? So you're going around and you're going to different crime scenes. You're using your eagle vision to like spot pieces or clues in the environment. They give you 10 like crimes you have to solve, and they're actually pretty interesting. Aside from the fact that the budgetary limitations of the DLC are probably shown, like the voice acting is not very good, and a lot of the animation is kind of rough around the edges and whatnot. But like the actual crimes you're solving are actually pretty cool because some of them, you just pick up context clues. You talk to people who are witnesses and stuff, and they give you all the facts, and then you just kind of have to decide who you're going to accuse of committing the crime, and you either get it wrong. If you get it wrong, they take away experience points that you ultimately earn at the end of each mission. Some of them are pretty interesting, and they get pretty intricate, so they're pretty cool. Like they start with basic, just like solve this murder, and then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, these people went to this psychic to like have their fortunes told, and in the middle of the seance, he like the lights went out and they came back on, and he was dead, and it happens like right in front of you. So you have to try and figure out who in the room killed the dude when the lights went out. Like it gets with pretty creative with stuff like that, but it was all kind of building to like teaching you these investigation mechanics that you use in the Jack the Ripper DLC, which I was obviously interested in because Jack the Ripper is a pretty fascinating part of history. That like it's an unsolved murder crime, case from that age.
You love your murderers that get away with it, don't you?
I do love my murderers that get away with it. And I was really interested to see how they were going to work Jack the Ripper into Assassin's Creed lore and whatnot. Like I said earlier, Joseph, I remember we were talking about this on Cocktail Time one time. We were just talking about all the different ways they could make Jack the Ripper really cool. Like even if he was like an assassin, and there was all kinds of ideas that were thrown around. But what they ultimately ended up doing with him in this game was kind of weird. Like he's just a rogue assassin that like the main characters from Syndicate train, and he like he's just crazy and he fucking loses his mind, and he kind of loses like all like allure, you know what I mean? Like they literally just turn him into like a fucking like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees type character who's like marching around like beating the crap out of people, and it's weird. I didn't really like what they did with it. And it all felt like it was building to this like twist that never happens. So I was a little bit let down by it. But you do get to play as Jack the Ripper periodically, which I thought was.
Did you get to live out your dark passenger, Nick?
No, he literally just walks around, and they give him this fear mechanic.
He just walks around. He doesn't.
You literally
from building
just like
to building.
You can
So
control
he's not
him
very.
like
He's not very. He doesn't have a lot of dexterity.
God, you really went for that one. You really had to like try and make the connection there, Nolan.
The connection was like that bit long. It was pretty easy.
Bare minimum connection. But I don't know. It was when you play as him, like you can still move around like an assassin and like do all the things an assassin can, but like the missions, like the missions that you go on are not set up in a way that you should actually do it stealthily. He literally just walks around like this like giant 7-foot tall hulking dude, and like you can walk up to people and just beat the shit out of them. And when you beat them up, it like scares the people around you. It's like you instill fear in people. So like they see you like brutally like murdering someone, and it scares the other people and they run away. Like that's his mechanic.
That's it?
That's it. That's basically it. And he's like losing his mind, so he's seeing like the screen gets all like jumbled, and like you see words flashing and stuff on the screen, and he's like just trying to tell you, I guess, that he's like a crazy person, which is as far as like Jack the Ripper as a potential character in a fictional universe. If you were going to try and give him like make up his like backstory, it was like the laziest thing they could have possibly done. So that was really unfortunate.
What else have you been playing, Nick?
So I started Okami on the total opposite end of that spectrum, and I'm not going to talk about it much because it's for the Revival Club, and we're going to do a podcast on that at the end of the month. But I do want to say I've played the first 4 or 5 hours of Okami so far, and that game is still a fucking delight, and it controls beautifully on the PS4 and whatnot. So again, we'll talk about that more at the end of the month because we're going to record a Revival Club podcast on that, hopefully with a community guest. So if you're interested in playing along with us, people in chat or people in Discord are are playing along as well. So, yeah, Okami is pretty great. Although I still fucking hate the voice acting. The voice acting. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's very, you can't really skip it and you can't turn it off. It's kind of annoying. But other than that, that game is still an absolute joy to play. Does anybody have any other like small mentions they want to throw out there? I know Nolan, you wanted to talk about Animal Crossing. You've been playing more of that.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
Yeah.
Does your house look nice yet?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely it's come a long way since the last time I was on a podcast, and not only has my house come a long way, but my island has come a long way. Bernadette and I are playing the game basically every day. She has a villager on my island. This is actually her playing in this footage. But there's a lot going on. So I mean, we've finished the game, and now we're just kind of doing our daily stuff. We're trying to improve the quality of our island. We're trying to build it out a little bit better. I kind of mentioned an idea of what we originally had to do in the last time I was on the podcast, so 2 weeks ago, and we're kind of almost there. We have like a residential section of the island and a section that's more of like the kind of like shopping and stuff like that. And we're going to build like a cultural section where we'll have like the museum and some like cafes and stuff like that. But it's still a work in progress, mainly just because everything in this game is slow. You can't do anything with any kind of speed. To put down like a line of fences, it takes like 3 seconds for each little like pane of fencing. You put it down and you move, and you put it down and you move. And honestly, one of my biggest frustrations is in the terraforming of the island, mainly because when you're terraforming, you either can like build up the dirt or tear down the dirt. Those are your two options, but they act on the same button, and so it's all about your position. And so many times I've been trying to, let me build up a wall of dirt right here. And I build it up and I move and I build it up and I move. And I actually tore it down on accident because I was a little too close. So instead of building, and it's just super frustrating that they're not different buttons. It'd be so easy to just be like, press this button to build up, press this button to tear down. And it's just like, you can't fuck that up. Like there's no way you could accidentally press the wrong button. But whatever. It just kind of makes everything slow.
Yeah, that bird seems cool.
Admiral, yeah, he's kind of like a grumpy old guy with a heart of gold. He's often like walking around the island watering plants, and he's a pretty chill guy. And that is the other. I don't know how many villagers are in this game.
Like dozens and dozens.
Yeah, like 100 different like villagers, and they all have different personalities, and they're different types of animals, and they have different tastes, and everyone likes certain ones, and everyone wants to fuck Raymond or something. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, there's this cat named Raymond who has like a vest, and like everyone's fucking into him. There's this one GIF. I'll try and find her. It's like a video of somebody being like, they go into like an Animal Crossing Discord, and they're like, hey, Raymond's leaving my island. If you want him, send me a message. And then he like starts recording a screen and just like all these fucking messages. Like hundreds of people are like, give me Raymond. Apparently there's over 400 villagers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and certain ones have become the cool ones. I don't know. We've only kind of kicked out one villager I wasn't a fan of.
Ostrich.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, did you say a robot ostrich?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird villagers.
Yeah.
There's like there's one villager that's made of like balloons.
What the fuck are you talking about, Brad?
Fuck you. He's made of like he has like balloon animal arms.
I don't fucking believe you. Are you talking about like the
its name is Pennywise the Clown?
No.
So actually, I did want to bring up Brad. Zucker brought you up. Not Zucker. Henry brought you up the other day. He's like, I remember when Brad was here from I can't remember the name of your island, Henry something or
I don't know. I didn't name it.
Okay. But anyway, the cool thing is when people visit your village, if they interact with your villagers, like sometimes your villagers will bring them up later on. They'll be like, I remember when Brad was here and he did this.
Or my birthday.
Who's that?
Cat, Tank, and Zucker. They threw me a party, and it felt great.
You know what? That's because you put your fucking birthday into your Switch, and they can see that shit.
You think? Like you cracked the code.
But yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where we have a bunch of different
really all the
villagers.
difference in you plugging it into your phone instead of actually remembering?
He's got to look at it. I barely remember my own birthday.
Dude, I can only tell you that Nolan's is around Valentine's Day.
That's accurate. But yeah, so we have this rabbit. That's actually a rabbit, surprisingly, named Genji. He's into muscle like building. He likes workout equipment. We have an eagle named Pierce. He's kind of a uppity as well. He's a little full of himself, but he's a good guy. We have who else? We have a fox named Sky. She's pretty cool. She's chill.
Do you have a hawk named Hawkeye?
No. But
how
did Pierce calls me Hawkeye? Pierce calls me Hawkeye? Okay, Sky calls me Airmail.
So do villagers like come and go randomly, or do you have some kind of...
How it works is you build a plot of land, and you're like, the game kind of like story-wise makes you build a few. And it's like, hey, we need someone to move into this house. And you go to an island, and you like a random island, not a person's island.
Yeah.
And there's like a person there, a villager, and you can talk to them. And if you want, you can be like, hey, you want to move to my island? And they're like, sure, I do. Or you build a campsite on your island, and randomly villagers will visit. And they'll be like, hey, man, this island's pretty cool. Maybe I might move here. And you could be like, no. Or you could be like, sure, why not? And as long as you have a space for them, they can move in.
Gotcha.
The other thing is every once in a while, a villager might be like, hey, I was thinking about moving out and going and kind of exploring the world. And you can either be
and you're like, fine, I didn't want you here anyway.
Thankfully, Bengal said that, because I was like, get the fuck out of here, Bengal. But you could also be like, maybe you don't leave. And they're like, oh, cool. Okay, I'll stay. And the whole
maybe I'll chain you up in your basement.
Well, yeah. And so the funny thing is I can't remember who in chat was bringing it up in our Animal Crossing Discord channel. But originally there was a lot of like kind of talk about how do you get rid of villagers? Oh, don't talk to them and like wall them off and blah, blah, blah. But no, apparently the easiest way to get rid of them is to just interact with them every day, because the more you interact with them, the more likely they're going to be like, I was thinking about leaving. And they don't leave because they're not happy. They leave because the game kind of wants you to interact with the different 400 fucking villagers.
Yeah, so they made 400 of them
built into where villagers should come and go over time. And if you have someone leave your island, their house becomes, or their plot of land becomes vacant. Apparently they take their house with them. Their plot of land becomes vacant. And if you don't have another villager already lined up, or one doesn't come, they just like throw all of a sudden a random person just moves in, which is how I got Velma, who was a goat. But yeah, so I mean, I've been enjoying it still. I still have plenty of frustrations with the game. It's still slow.
This game, where's the Nintendo items?
I mean, there's a Switch.
Where's the?
Yes, I agree with you, Brad. I'm still missing and lacking some
coming
of the cool,
in 2021.
Like, I mean, it could be they're constantly updating this game. We just had the May Day event.
You know what? I'm gonna open up New Leaf and I'm gonna show. Well, I can't
do it. I dare you.
I'd like to show you how much cool Nintendo shit I have in that game.
I bet there was a lot. But yeah, so they just had the May Day event, which introduced a couple of new like visitors to your island. There's Leaf, who sells you some like special flowers and shrubbery. There's Red, who's apparently a Animal Crossing mainstay. He sells artwork, but some of it might be like fake, so not worth anything. So when you go to try to like donate to the museum, they're like, that's not real. And I guess you can still just like put it up on your wall maybe. But the other thing that I kind of frustrated myself and Bernadette is the more villagers they've added as time has gone on, you can only have one like visitor to your island, be it a Gulliver, who was my visitor today. He's a seagull who gets washed up on shore. You have to help him out, and then he sends you a gift. But you only have one visitor like that a day. Sunday, it's reserved for Daisy May, who sells turnips. Saturday, I think it's pretty much reserved for KK Slider, who comes and does a concert every Saturday. And then Monday through Friday is when you get those random villagers. But the problem is, now that there's so many, you never know who you're going to get. And there's certain ones, CJ and Flick are the ones who will buy fish or bugs at a higher price. So you want them to come so you can make more money. We haven't fucking seen Flick in like at least a week and a half.
Do you need the money? Do you need the money, Nolan?
I always need the money, Brad. I only have like a couple million.
Just sell your fucking butt.
But Brad, that being said, fucking Sahara has been on our island at least 3 times since the last time Flick was here. And all Sahara sells is random fucking rugs and carpet.
Sahara is one of the best visitors.
Okay, that's fine. Sahara doesn't need to come 3 times for every time Flick comes once.
See, Nick, this is what Animal Crossing does to people.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I just want to make sure that's said.
Okay.
Just gonna leave it.
They build houses of tarantulas. That's not right.
Well, that's Bernadette's house of tarantulas. I don't have a house of tarantulas.
You share the same island.
She has her own house.
She
can do whatever she wants. Right. Her house looks nicer than mine.
Oh, I'm sorry. A house with 2 rooms filled with tarantulas.
Correct.
That's totally different.
She likes to collect bugs. But yeah, so that's what's going on. There's still, like I said, new things have happened. At the start of May, they introduced some new bugs and new fish and stuff like that. So we're, kind of interacting with that new stuff. Like I said, new islands, whatever. Cool. Still having a fun time playing it. We had, yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say about Animal Crossing. I'm going to keep playing it.
Sweet. What else did we have this week?
I had one more game to briefly talk about because I kind of want to talk about it with Brad. I don't know if Chris Davis has been playing it.
Yeah, I beat it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So Final Fantasy VII. I'm just kidding. XCOM Chimera Squad.
Oh, right.
Oh, I've not played before that.
Okay, well that's fine. I don't think I ever really got your first initial impressions, and I'm just kind of.
We talked about it a bunch last week.
But yeah, I wasn't here last week.
You should listen to our show. It's available in MP3 format.
So, Chimera Squad. Started playing this game. Big XCOM fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't yet know how I feel about this game. I have some opinions. I think
your hottest takes.
I do agree with a tweet Brad had sent out. That I 100% agree that I do believe this was probably a game developed for mobile, and they just released it on PC first to legitimize it, because it definitely feels like that style. It is each mission you go on is not a mission; it is a broken up section of 3 sections.
Room.
Yeah, like 3 rooms. Oh,
you go into a room, you take out 2 or 3 dudes, and then you go into the next one. It's very much, it's like piecemeal, so it seems kind of built for like quick play, almost. Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what it seems like it's geared towards. Like the ability to quickly do something and then set it down and go do something else. Quick. Oh, I'm at like I don't even fucking know. Like I'm at a stoplight while I'm driving home. Let me do a mission real quick. And
that's a bad idea, Nolan. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a bad idea.
But that's what it seems like this game is geared towards. Like it's just very streamlined, which is not necessarily bad. It's just I don't know. I'm not enjoying how I play the game. In the original XCOM and XCOM 2, I would start a mission. So over here we have a goal. XCOM 2, usually a lot of the missions were a little more like kind of almost like faster pace. Like, hey, there's actually time limits. If you don't do this in this much time, bad things happen, whatever. But you would spend 20, 30 turns trying to kind of outmaneuver enemies and do this and discover things. Whereas in this, like you see the whole map when you get there. There's no there's no fog of war. You're not exploring. You're not creeping up on enemies.
No, the fog of war is the shitty camera angle you get when you bust into a room and you can't figure out what the fuck is going on.
That is true.
Well,
that is very accurate.
Same thing.
I mean, to be clear though, you don't see the entire fog of war. You just see the room that you're in.
Yeah.
Because you'll have multiple encounters, so it should go to different rooms.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's what I don't like. I'm saying I don't like that. Oh, I enter a single room. I can see the entire thing. I can see all the enemies. I know exactly.
There's no mystery when you enter a room.
Yeah, really. And then all of a sudden we're going to line up for our next breach. And if I have a key card, I can go through this door. And if I have some explosives, I can go through here. But this guy's going to take this penalty. And it doesn't seem like there was a lot of as much thought and love that went into every level. It seems like they're a little more generic. It seems like they're a little more like very much face value, like, oh, you're in a room, kill the guys, you go to the next room, you kill the guys, you go to the next room, you kill the guys. The mission.
With that said, you also got to take all of that in line with the fact that the game is like $20.
Yeah.
No, I mean I paid $10 for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not like hating on it.
If this was a $60 game, I feel like we would all be up in arms about it because it wouldn't feel like it had justified the price. But
yeah,
$10-$20 seems like a fair price for an experience like this to me, at least. I mean, again, this is I haven't played any more of it since last week, and I had at that point I had even barely scratched the surface. I did like 2 or 3 missions. So yeah,
I intend to play more. I just I've been playing a more interesting tactics game. This. I don't know if you got more to say on XCOM, but I have a question. Why the fuck has Chris Davis not talked about Gears Tactics?
Because I haven't played it yet.
Why the fuck not? You're like the biggest Xbox guy here.
You're whispering.
First off, fuck off.
Oh, I'm whispering. No, not fuck off anything. I'm serious. You love like Microsoft IP and shit, right? You like Gears, right?
Gears is fine. It's not.
Gears Tactics is getting a lot of good buzz, and in a lot of cases, even better than this XCOM. If anyone's, I mean, look. Sorry, it's offensive, but you're kind of an Xbox stan a little bit. Like, shouldn't you at least try this out? It's on Game Pass.
I mean, I want to play it, yes, but I haven't gotten to it. No.
Oh, that's on Game Pass this month too.
Game Pass,
yeah.
I
almost booted it up the other day.
I've been playing out of here. I've been playing Soccer Wars instead. I wanted to play that first.
I will say this: Chris Davis
like sports.
It does sound every time. It sounds like you say Soccer Wars every
time. Just say Sakura, so we know what the fuck
Sakura is. Does that make you feel better?
It honestly sounds a lot better.
That was so funny.
I wanted to play Sakura Wars first.
You can say Sakura, but say Sakura, not Sakura.
I typically don't like to play more than 1 or 2 games at a time.
I will say this: Chris Davis is leaning into I'm going to commit to every game that I play, as opposed to jumping from one. He's playing fewer, but he's finishing more.
Put out this year for the Xbox One.
Can I use that as a transition, because
we do need to transition.
All right, so it's funny you mentioned that, because this morning Microsoft hosted their big. They've been talking about this since last week, since Assassin's Creed was revealed. They were going to do
What made this seem bad, by the way?
Wait, say again.
The build up to this,
they marketed it so wrong.
This was very much built up to seem like. So this was an inside Xbox presentation, very much like their Nintendo Direct, but it was supposed to be the first time we get a glimpse of Xbox Series X gameplay, right?
Let alone for a lot of games, next gen versions of those games.
Correct.
I posted it in Discord earlier, but anybody see Jeff's poll about this?
Yes, Jeff Keighley, when he posted.
So he posted a poll afterwards, which 72,000 people have responded to, and his poll was: so what's your grade for the Xbox event today? 43% gave it a D or lower. Only 10% said it was an A, and
that's wild.
I think 10% is too high.
So I do want to. So I have a list of games here that were announced or shown at this event, right? I will give them this. They showed some games.
They showed games.
They showed some games. There were some surprises. There were also, but this was also very much built up to seem like it was going to be our first glimpse of like.
And they were building up Assassin's Creed, like it was
dude. They were building up Assassin's Creed Valhalla's gameplay reveal like it was going to be like an E3 demo, like a
dude. Even afterwards, they were like, "Guys, that was gameplay footage," and people are like, "I don't care that it was in engine." that's not what I fucking came here for.
I'm sure it was recordings of people playing the game, but you're using camera angles and you're switching around and editing so much that
it was
fucking
like 20 seconds. It was like 20 seconds, like 20 to 30 seconds of gameplay with Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Intermixed with fucking cinematics.
Yes, I have no better idea of how this game feels in comparison to previous Assassin's Creed games, which is a big deal because this Assassin's Creed game is supposed to address a lot of the complaints and concerns after Odyssey. Even though Odyssey is a very well-received game, there's a lot of talk and complaints about the game being the way it handled like scaling of enemies and certain RPG mechanics and things like that. Brad will come back in a second. There he is. So
excited.
Yeah, we were very. What the hell's going on with Brad's camera?
He's turning the lights off.
It's a shitty Logitech camera.
We were very much expecting to see like a full-on demonstration of this game, so we would get an idea of how the game looks and plays. But we're no closer to that than we were before the event. So that's what they closed with. So that was a real bummer. But I have a list of games here that they showed. So shall I just go down the list? And there might be one or two here that I'm missing. Sure. I did get a phone call in the middle of this thing, so I may have missed one.
Sure. How many of them had actual gameplay?
Not enough.
Not many. I mean, it was only like a 30-minute event, which
it was like 25 minutes or something like that.
Well, they opened with that crappy game Chris Davis talked about last week.
Oh yeah, so they opened with Bright Memory, which Chris Davis talked about last week.
Specifically, Bright Memory Infinite.
Yeah. So the what Chris Davis talked about last week was very much like a demo, right? It felt like a demo. Yeah. So this is the full realized version of that game coming to Xbox. Seems like a very strange thing to open, especially when you know this is going to be the first next-gen gameplay we're going to see, right?
It set the theme of the event, the conference or whatever, right?
It set the bar low.
And Microsoft has done this shit before. First of all, you're not going to find a single pixel in this thing. Oh, you're not going to find a single pixel in this thing, right? What they do is they find the prettiest looking, and indie games, the ones that like No Man's Sky. When they first showed No Man's Sky, everyone's like, "Wow, that's pretty. It's only made by 4 people or whatever the fuck, right?" And they take those games, which in reality, when you play them, you're like, "Well, this is a janky fucking mess," but they show really well in trailers.
Yeah.
So people who are like very casually just tuning in think that this is a big new AAA game, but in reality, it's just Microsoft pulling the wool over your eyes. You know, and you play the fucking thing, and it's a $10 demo, and it plays like shit. It just had a nice trailer,
right?
And
there's a lot
of those games here.
There is a lot of that here, but I think it's important to point out too. A lot of these are assumptions about products that aren't out yet. So some of these may play well. So we want to be fair, but it certainly set the tone for the trailer and made it feel, or for the event, and made it feel strange because Bright Memory looks pretty enough. It has some really cool like weather effects going on. I think that's what they wanted to show off. But like, it also looked like a very I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, but like a budget first-person shooter you would see from like early Xbox 360 era. I'm trying to think of a specific title, but I can't. Nothing coming to mind.
Shadow Warrior-ish.
Yeah. So
yes, it did remind me of Shadow Warrior.
So here's the list of games. So they had Bright Memory. Dirt 5 is where they went next.
They went to Scorn.
Sorry, this may not be in order. I wrote Dirt 5 before Scorn. I will get to Scorn. So let's just go with the list, okay? Dirt 5, which I'm not. We're not big racing fans here. I'm sure that might be a big deal. That's probably the biggest like triple. That is probably the only like AAA franchise.
Yeah, Dirt's maybe AA. Well, Dirt's cool. I mean, I played a couple of Dirt Rally games.
I mean, Codemasters is a great studio. Yeah. And they make good racing games. So.
Codemasters, didn't they do Onrush?
No. That was former Evolution people.
Oh, okay.
So, whatever. We don't play a lot of these.
I think Codemasters bought that studio, though. So they might technically be Codemasters.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dirt 5, we don't play many of those types of games, but I'm sure there are people that are very excited for that. So the next game I have on here is Scorn. This is the weird looking H.R. Geiger alien trailer.
This is what Brad was kind of saying. They're just trying to sell it on it's gross, and there's a thing that looks like a penis, and I'm gonna take this tentacle and stick it in this thing's mouth, and it's dripping.
They've been showing off trailers for this game for years.
There's gameplay demos.
So what is the gameplay like in this game?
It's like a first-person shooter, but the weapons are like weird and alien.
Yeah, they're all like they're just like all the environments. They're just flesh things.
Yeah, I mean, this could be cool, but like, you know what? A vibe I get from this, and again, it's the whole thing of like, hey, it had a cool trailer and people were interested and people played it and it was like, this is rancid. Remember that game Agony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the. I'm not saying this is going to be bad like Agony, but people got hyped up because the trailer looked kind of pretty. It wasn't pixels, and then when they played it, it was like offensively bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Scorn will be good.
I'm gonna have to look up that gameplay. How old? I'm assuming it's a few years old at this point. The gameplay trailer.
I think they announced the game
couple of years, maybe.
Because I saw a description, like an official description, maybe from Microsoft or something, where they described this game as a Metroidvania, and I'm kind of like,
well, that's good. I mean, that's
maybe it's changed. Maybe it's evolved over the years. So
I think they announced the game back in 2017.
All I know is I like fucked up H.R. Geiger shit. So maybe I'm going to give this a try.
Watch the gameplay, because there actually is gameplay out there.
All right, I will check that out. The next game I have on the list is they showed the first debut, or the first, or not first, like another trailer for Vampire the Masquerade 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bloodlines 2.
Ooh,
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines
and
2.
Dance and eat blood and
so
it's a game that I hope is good, but I don't really have much faith.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat as you, but I like this stuff. So and
what does that mean? Vampires?
I like vampires. So
Okay.
I would have never known.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoyed my time with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1. People were talking since the first demo where like the combat looks atrocious. There's there was that demo where the guy clearly didn't know how to play the game.
It wasn't just that. The game looked like shit.
Yeah, it looked bad. But to be honest, the combat in the original Vampire is not something that I would say is a selling point for that game. I'm hoping all the stuff that Vampire did well the first time is still good here.
Yeah, but
so
that game also came out in 2005 or 4, and I mean, the combat wasn't fucking great, but like there's no excuse that it would still be shitty. Like it's okay because, and I guarantee you that demo that we saw of that game last year, it looked worse. The combat looked worse in that than it did in the original Bloodlines.
But to be fair, they're probably spending a lot of time trying to improve that before it launched. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until we've played it or seen more.
Yeah, give them a try.
I really hope it's good because that first one was really cool.
I hope it's good.
The next one is called Call of the Sea, and this struck me as like very much the kind of
only one out of the entire thing that I may be interested in.
Yeah,
really?
Okay.
Yes. It has interesting graphics. It looks puzzly. It looks like it's kind of you're gonna explore this kind of place.
You know what it's reminding me of?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Rime.
Yep. Ooh, I'm out.
I didn't mean for that to turn you off, but it reminds me of that kind of game in terms of scope.
What is it called again? Call
of the Sea.
Is this the one where he was like
like the fish hands or whatever swimming in the water?
Yeah. I like the swimming underwater, but is this going to be like a walking simulator, or is this going to be a video game?
I think it's very much supposed to be like a puzzle ass video game.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, looks cool. That's a trailer I would definitely recommend checking out.
I mean, I definitely got like Myst / like, what was that game we all like? Puzzle.
The
Jonathan
Witness?
Blow, The Witness.
The Witness.
Yeah, Witness vibes. Like a very kind of empty looking world, but like it seems like you're going to interact with some puzzles. There's a couple of times where you saw something kind of big off in the distance. It's like, I might be interacting with that at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of got some inspiration from like Witness in that regard. And so I'm hoping for something like that.
This is definitely a trailer I want to watch again.
I'm watching it now.
So the next game on the list is, and this is one I don't remember much. Is this the one with the dinosaurs? It's called Chorus?
No,
this is the space shooter.
Yeah, this is the one that looks like Control.
Mm-hmm. Control,
but
Control,
but not as good.
Wait, Control
with the brutalistic architecture in the background.
What?
To be clear, that you are flying like a space fighter.
I mean, that was part of it. Yes.
Okay.
But there was parts where the main character was walking around in an environment that looked like it was straight out of Control.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch this live. I watched it afterwards, and I just kind of fast forwarded through this one because this one looks super boring.
Chorus.
CHORUS. VS?
Well, that's the way they're spelling it in the logo.
The logo looks like Corvs, but apparently it's called Chorus.
You're gonna have to spell that out loud for me again.
CHORUS.
No.
What?
Yes.
Wait, I thought it was the V.
No, the logo. This is gonna be really annoying. The logo looks like CHORVS, but apparently it's a U.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. I don't know how that got by the design team.
This is, I don't know. I mean, it was a short trailer and we didn't really see much of the gameplay, but you're definitely flying a space fighter jet, so that's cool, I guess.
Yeah. What was the game that had the dinosaurs? I don't think I wrote it down.
Extinction,
That's such a bad name.
Yeah, it is.
Or the best name.
It also looks bad too.
Yeah, so Second Extinction. It's dinosaurs, man.
Of all the games on that we saw today, like that was the most gameplay we actually saw, though.
Was it though?
Yeah, go back and watch that trailer. That was mostly gameplay.
All right, but gameplay also that didn't strike me as anything particularly next gen. You know what I mean? Remember when you saw remember the first time we saw PS4 and Xbox One gameplay footage, and it was like, damn. I am not getting those vibes here, but maybe that's just because
also keep in mind that most of the trailers that we saw today, they label them as smart delivery, meaning that they're cross-gen titles.
And they're coming out for
just a bunch of PC games. That's all we're looking at, a bunch of indie PC games.
We're looking at a bunch of indie PC games that are going to be coming out right at the turn of the generation. So like they're going to look like very early generational games. So, the next game we have is The Ascent.
I don't remember that one.
Which one was The Ascent?
That was the one that looked like fucking Prey 2.
What?
Oh, yeah, that was like a straight up like isometric
but isometric shooter game. Yeah.
But it looked kind of cyberpunky at the beginning.
Yeah.
Prey 2-ish. You're right. Prey 2 is a good assessment. Didn't look particularly impressive. But the next game is, for me personally, is the highlight of the show for me.
I think I agree. This looks cool.
The Medium, which is Bloober Team's next game. Obviously, I was a big fan of Blair Witch last year, and they've also done Layers of Fear and Observer. They make really cool atmospheric horror games. And this is the next game from that team. It's apparently their most ambitious and most.
Well, it looks like they're making a Silent Hill game.
Yeah,
it looks like a Silent Hill game, and they're working with Akira Yamaoka on the music.
Yeah, when we were watching that trailer, I typed Silent Hill because the music sounded like Laura's theme, kind of.
Yeah, it did.
And sure enough, it was Akira Yamaoka.
So this is easily the highlight of the show for me.
If you read up on it, one of the interesting points, because the whole idea behind this game, to back up, is that we play as a woman who's a medium who can connect to the other world. Yeah. And evidently you can go into this other world, and because of the loading times of the new systems, there's no loading going between your world and the spirit world.
So that could be really cool, especially depending on how big in detail the environments are and how intricate they are. If you're jumping between two different versions of a world in real time, that could be really cool.
It's like fucking a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Or Silent Hill.
Or Silent Hill, but faster in real time. So we also have Scarlet Nexus. This is the next game from Namco Bandai. It looked exactly like fucking Code Vein.
No, it looked like the developers of Code Lane making Astral Chain.
But it's actually former Tales devs that are working on it.
Well, I mean, it's all Namco internal, so.
I mean, yeah,
but yeah, it definitely looks like it's leaning. Visually speaking, it looks kind of in the same vein as Code Vein, but different type of game, more of a character action game. Looked actually pretty decent.
Yeah, looked okay.
I don't know. I want to see more of it, but again, not particularly next gen looking. Oh, there's where I wrote Second Extinction. We've already talked about that. And Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is coming to Xbox. Did we not know this was coming to Xbox?
I think we knew that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think so.
And then beyond that, it was just the Assassin's
I was
Creed
hoping to
Valhalla
get a release date for Yakuza, though.
Yeah, they didn't drop any specifics.
I mean, they said launch title for that, so this year.
So yeah, all in all, kind of pretty disappointing event, especially as with every major event like this, where you're expecting announcements. There were all kinds of quote unquote leaks. People were throwing around Elden Ring and Batman and shit before this, and I was like, I'm not letting this possibility. People were like, this is where we're going to see the Harry Potter RPG.
Save us, Jeff Keighley.
Why would they reserve that for a fucking Inside Xbox episode?
So one thing, Jeff Keighley's little survey thing. Mm-hmm. He's doing an event. When is that event supposed to be? In June?
Was this Shade? Was this supposed to be Shade?
Well, I don't think it was Shade. I think it was more of him trying to figure out what people's expectations are, because he probably wants to make sure he secures some big. If that wasn't cutting it, he wants to make sure he secures some big deals.
It's not about securing big things, Nick. They could have taken all of the games we saw today and made a great event out of that if they would have shown them a completely different way.
Mm-hmm. True, yeah.
If they would have shown more gameplay, if they would have spent any amount of time talking
about
it.
Or just not built it up like it was. It was a Nintendo Direct.
Well, no, but Nintendo Directs are 10 times better. Because they say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and this is what I do, and let's look at this game. And then they come out of that game, and then they fucking talk about it a little bit. Not just be like, trailer of like pre-rendered, maybe in-game engine stuff. And then now let's move on to the next one. And now let's move. Okay, hold on. Let me have someone talking their fucking 2006 webcam through a mic that's really shitty.
That was the weirdest part.
It's really framey and bit ratey, and like, because we're all like, like, I'm fine with social distancing. It should be done. I'm glad they did it like this. But in all honesty, if the person would have taken their phone and held it up and recorded themselves, it would have been 100 times better than using shitty webcams and mics for this event.
It was weird.
It's funny, we were talking shit because like even ours is better, but we're having technical issues tonight for some fucking reason.
We're doing this fucking live. It's not a pre-recorded event like they did.
Zero Skies in chat makes a good point. This event very much reminded me of like Sony's like really boring state of play presentations.
Yes.
As much as I love Sony and their products, like not even their product can save how dull those events or presentations are. And what sucks is like maybe the worst thing about E3 not happening this year is that like all the showmanship that makes these things exciting is probably going to be.
But I don't know whose job that is, but you can still have showmanship in a pre-recorded event. You can still have showmanship.
Yeah,
and especially
Nintendo's pre-recorded.
Why would you not go fucking all out on being the first hardware manufacturer to show off next generation gameplay for what to expect for the next 5-6 years? Mm-hmm. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Honestly, a deep dive into like Halo Infinite running in real time on Xbox Series X would have been a more interesting and beneficial event.
I think
that's coming later.
It is. But I agree with Chris Davis. Getting the first excitement out there, showing gameplay live where it's like, look how fast this shit loads, look at this stuff I can do with this new technology, look how impressive this is. But instead it's all just pre-rendered.
And what sucks is like that's what they were trying to make us think it was. It's the worst part. So we need to move on, but like it was a disappointment. I'm glad we got some interesting announcements for sure.
One of the things, it's kind of a rumor right now, there's definitely nothing official about it, but I've heard from Sony, and once again, rumor, nothing confirmed about it. But there's been rumors that the PlayStation 5 store will let you immediately start playing a demo of a game. Like you just select a game like, oh, here's Uncharted 5, and you click play demo, and you're just playing the demo. It just happens.
So it's like PlayStation Now?
Kind of. I don't know the technology behind it.
I mean, that's the only way I can picture it working.
I'm gonna be honest. Demos is like if one thing could come back this generation that kind of like revolutionizes the way we shop for games and try games and whatnot. Like demos, man. If that came back and it worked the way you're talking about it, my God, that would be amazing. Fucking amazing. But hey, we'll have to wait a little bit longer. I'm assuming we'll probably get a PlayStation event here in the next month, 2 months.
Also would be great if as soon as you're done with that demo and you decide to buy the game, if you didn't have to restart the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy VII, if I could have just picked off from where I left off in the demo I played, that would have been nice.
Man, you know what? I don't know. Microsoft has good products. I don't know why they can't seem to like get these events right. And you know what? And that's not necessarily fair. The last 2 years, I think at E3, their presentations have been pretty stellar. Like as far as like spending the right amount of time showing new games versus talking. Like that's been great. But they can't seem to ever get out the gate on the right foot.
Yeah, I mean,
this was their opportunity
right now too. So
this was their opportunity, especially the way they built it up to like make this a big deal, and it wasn't. So kind of a bummer, but nonetheless, some cool stuff coming. And I guess we'll see more.
The sheer amount of indies that are coming out on everything that they showed here is a sign that they don't have much, I think.
Right.
Outside of their few first-party things they're going to show in July.
They do have some studios working on stuff, but obviously none of that's really ready to show, especially now that they're working from home mostly. So we'll see. Are there any other big news topics we want to talk about this week? We do probably need to move on to community here pretty quick. We spent a lot of time on that.
But... I mean, do we want to... I think we should really mention the Prince of Persia stuff.
Oh yeah, so there was a
there were 2 bits actually.
Yeah, so there was a demo that has apparently been on YouTube for ages. Oh God, keep talking. I'm gonna handle this. Keep talking. Prince of Persia.
I'm not familiar with this Prince of Persia news. If anyone.
So there was a project that was pitched to Ubisoft that was ultimately turned down, called Prince of Persia Redemption. And the video evidently went up in 2012 on YouTube, and nobody evidently noticed until very recently that this was a thing that was pitched.
What?
Yeah, it's a 3-minute video pitch for a new Prince of Persia game that looks quite inspired by God of War. But it evidently was a prototype that was pitched just before Assassin's Creed 3's project was pitched to Ubisoft. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, they didn't greenlight this project. One of the reasons suggested is that Ubisoft actually doesn't own the rights to the Prince of Persia franchise. That belongs with the game's original creator. And they supposedly don't want to take the risk on having to buy that license or pay for it.
Can't be that much. How does Ubisoft not own that?
I mean, I don't know. But the other thing that came from this was that somebody also noticed that Ubisoft has registered a new URL, which is princeofpersia6.com. So that's...
I don't believe it. It's not going to happen.
I mean, you never know. I don't think there's a Splinter Cell 9 or 7 at this point website, but that's more likely not going to happen.
Yeah.
You didn't have to agree with me there. You didn't have to. You could have just said, "Oh, Chris, don't worry. You'll get your Splinter Cell one day."
I mean, you might.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. If the butts were fruits and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
What?
Okay, I came back at the... All I heard is something about butts and Christmas.
About butts and nuts.
Let's move on to community.
All right, let's move on to community. Nolan, you ready? I think we have a few new patrons this week.
I don't have the list of new patrons.
I will pull up the list here in a second. I will, while you're pulling up questions, I will just remind everybody again, if you're a supporter on Patreon at the $3 tier or higher, or a Twitch subscriber, you can participate in the Revival Club. Right now we're playing Okami, which was voted on by you guys and won by a pretty large margin. So great game, a lot of opportunities to play it right now. I think it was on sale on Steam, so If you're interested in playing that game or revisiting that game,
I'm curious.
Now's the time.
Has anybody been playing the Switch version?
Yes, a few people have been playing the Switch version.
How does that? Does it work well with the drawing?
From what I've heard from the people I've talked to in Discord about it so far, they say that the using the touch screen for it works beautifully. But maybe there are a few other things about the Switch version that maybe offset that a little bit.
The fact that the Switch sucks.
Maybe.
And handheld
I don't know. It doesn't suck, you bastard. Anyway,
got shitty little buttons and.
All I can tell you is this: I'm playing it on the PS4 and it's wonderful. So, anyways, sorry, Nolan, are you ready? I'll pull up the list of new patrons here in a second.
Yeah,
but
I'm ready.
By all means, continue.
Sorry, I'm kind of doing something with this because I don't have edit access to this list. I only have view access. So I've definitely answered, or we've asked some of these before. So I just made a copy of it, and I'm kind of coloring some of the ones we've answered before.
And honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't update that doc as of today, so I have a few extra.
That's fine. I'm going fucking rogue, Nick. I'm going rogue. Don't even
go for it.
First question this week from Fuzzy Turd.
Alrighty,
it's a good one. Very soon after I finally got Skyrim on PC. After having played an ungodly number of hours, quadruple digits, on my PS3. I installed a nude mod because I was a horned up teenager that went mad with my new modding powers.
Oh no.
What are some of the most shameful mods you've ever had?
None. The only time this is going to sound crazy, especially considering how much, I don't play PC games very often, but like the only experience I've ever had installing a mod has been in the last year. And that was with Dragon's Dogma, which there were several, visual mods to make that game just look and perform a little bit better.
Because you recently became a PC gamer.
Yeah, right. I'm a PC gamer now.
You don't know the joy of the modding scene. The joy and terror of the modding scene, let me put it that way.
I'm picking up on it. And then the other one was Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2. There was a cut content
the restoration mod.
Yeah, correct. That's my only experience with mods. So nothing shameful there. My cat's about to start yelling.
I don't think I've ever done like a nude mod.
I've never done a nude mod. It is surprising that every single time I go to like Nexus mods, like it seems like the most downloaded mods, or at least the most popular ones on there, are nude mods. Even for like when I was looking for something for like Final Fantasy VII or something, I think I saw something, and Dragon's Dogma definitely had it, and there was some other game I played recently that had it too.
Hey Nick, I have a recommendation. You got Resident Evil on the PC, right?
Wait, which Resident Evil?
Resident Evil 3. I know it was incredibly forgettable, but we did play that recently. I mean, it's fucking.
Yes, I have it on PC. I have it on PC and PS4.
So, like, there was always a lot of really cool mods for Resident Evil.
They have a strong mod community.
Yeah. So, like, just simple stuff like, hey, play as fucking Regina or whatever. Or is that in the actual game?
No, I think it's a mod. I know. Actually, Jack sent me a Twitter DM and he was like, "Play this." And
no, don't install anything Jack ever sends you ever
I know.
Again.
I had that exact same reaction. Sorry, Jack. I love you, but I'm not installing.
There was a video I saw recently that was Resident Evil 3, I believe, and they replaced who's the main? Not Claire.
Jill.
Thank you. They replaced Jill's head with Isabel from Animal Crossing. And when is it Nemesis in 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
When Nemesis like busts in the wall, it's not Nemesis, it's Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good some pretty good mods there.
Thomas is a classic. I remember there being a mod for 2. I mean, there were so many mods for Mr. X and 2, but beyond Thomas, there was one that was like what's his name? Pennywise from It.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good.
The goose.
Yeah, I made certain that
we know.
appeared in our
I
videos.
have an answer to the question.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I modded in Nina's in Tekken 7. I modded it so Julia can wear Nina's cat suit.
That's
I guess that's kind of.
I don't know much about that, but that sounds shameful.
I don't think any of like nothing shameful. I've never installed that stuff. I mean, I have plenty of mods I'm proud that I installed. I still miss my Thanks Obama one from the original Dark Souls.
It's pretty good.
The only one I guess I could, in theory, be ashamed of is when I recently played through Stardew Valley. After a while, I did install a mod that kind of lets you mess with time in the game a little bit, just to kind of like help. But I mean, it's not really like I'm not really like ashamed of it. It's just I did it just
it's to help.
Wear it like a badge of honor, Nolan.
What's up, Breb?
No, I just went.
Oh. But it's like one of those things where like one of the main challenges in the game is like, oh, you need to get these special things in the mines that are endless, but like it takes you so long to get down there. But by the time you get down there, like the day is over. And so like my mod just like when I was in a dungeon, instead of 10 minutes being 7 seconds in the game, 10 minutes was like 30 seconds. So it just kind of like extended the time I could be in there. But anyway, let's move on.
Brutal Doom's a really good mod.
What?
Brutal Doom.
Brutal Doom.
That wasn't the question. The question wasn't cool mods.
Yeah, that was not.
And also that one overrated.
Next question from Zero Skies, another patron. I've seen people say third-person VR games are a waste of VR. Would you agree or disagree? I think it's pretty simple, and I can answer it for the entire 4-player crew. We disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah, completely.
Yes, wholeheardly.
You just got to do cool stuff with it, like Astrobot.
Yeah, you can definitely have any game in any in third person, first person, whatever can be shitty.
Moss
shitty game
is a great example of a third person one.
But yes, Moss is great. Astrobot is great. You can definitely have good VR games in third person.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to get to this one. It's been on our list for a while, and I'm mainly going to get to it because I don't know how much longer it will be relevant. Villosaurus asks, in honor of Persona 5 Royal, what are some of your favorite games to play with a deck of cards?
Huh?
Just like card games?
I'm assuming they mean either like deck building or surrounded, like decks are like a big, component of the game.
I think he means like specifically maybe a 52 card deck, right? Like a playing card deck?
Are there a whole lot of games with that?
You'd be surprised.
Well, like games you can like
just in real life games you play with a deck of cards.
I think he just means card games.
Solitaire,
like ERS.
Oh,
used to play the shit out of ERS back in the day.
I mean,
I don't even know what that is.
There's
War.
Gen,
War's
there's Blackjack, there's
Speed.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Someone in our community's got to know ERS. I know Bernadette does, so she's not allowed to answer.
I don't. It may have had a different name where I came from.
It maybe did. Like 20 miles away from me in Houston. I'm sure y'all called it something different from me. ERS
the classic 52 card pickup.
Egyptian rat screw. I don't know where the name came from, but it's the game where you split the deck amongst everybody. You put down the card, the next person put down theirs. If it's a double, you can like slap it or whatever. There was all the different rules like sandwiches, doubles. Like if someone put down a king, you had 4 chances to put down like a face card. If you and your whole goal was to like whatever. See, Bernadette knows obviously. That was we played the shit out of that game. BS was always a fun one.
BS,
everyone loved BS. I remember the first time I was in Boy Scouts, and we were on a camping trip, and a bunch of the parents were there. And my dad was there, and he's like, "What game are y'all playing?" And I was like, "BS," and he was like, what does BS mean?" And I was like, "It means bullshit." And he's like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" I got in trouble for saying
you got him.
I played dominoes when I was in school. We didn't play cards.
That doesn't have a card game. Deck of cards.
Threw bones. We threw bones.
Yeah, you're old.
Hey, by the way, Nolan.
That's not an old person thing.
Totally
throwing bones.
We didn't have cards back in my day. They were little stone tablets.
You threw like pennies against the wall of the side of the building or whatever.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. What were you saying, Nick?
Totally unrelated, but I realized when Maggie was yelling, I muted the mic in Discord, but that doesn't automatically obviously mute it in Audacity. So
no,
sorry.
Good to know. Bernadette brings up another one, Spoons. That was a good game. Did y'all play Spoons?
I think I've played Spoons, but I couldn't tell you what the rules were or anything.
Spoons were when you have X number of players and you have either 1 or 2, depending on the number of players, less spoons in the middle, and you pick up a card and you put down a card, and you kind of keep going, and your goal is to get 4 of a kind. And the first one to get 4 of a kind picks up a spoon, but you got to do it stealthily, because as soon as one person takes a spoon, anyone else is allowed to take one. And you want to be the last one to not. You don't want to be the last one, otherwise you're out. And I remember there was a Christmas where I was at my cousin's house and we were playing that, and everyone goes scramble, but we didn't have enough spoons because spoons were dirty because we were like eating dessert or whatever. So we had some like spoons and like forks and some other things, and it was kind of dangerous playing that with forks because the tongs are kind of. I just remember, and then my little cousin, like everyone's scrambling, and he picks it up, but he does like this, and so he like just like grabs it and kind of pulls away from the table, but it looked like he stabbed himself in the eye with the fork, and he was like screaming. Anyway,
oh my god!
Back in my day, spoons, you grab like an empty milk jug and you just slap the.
You didn't slap the spoons on a milk jug, Brad. You slapped the spoons on your knee.
On your knee?
What are you fucking talking about on the milk jug?
That's how they played it where Brad is from.
Where
okay.
I come from, though.
All right. Next question from Scud. Now that we have Bannerlord and the 8+ year meme of Bannerlord win is over.
I think I asked this one last week.
Yeah, I remember it.
I wasn't here last week.
Right, I'm sorry.
My answer was no.
Okay.
Damn
it. Next question from Ash. You guys wear belts or just buy pants that fit?
I wear pants that fit.
I wear pants that fit that I also sometimes wear belts on.
It doesn't matter what my pants fit on me. I always wear a belt.
Yeah.
I just always wear a belt.
Not on like my shorts, but yeah.
If I'm leaving my house,
if I'm going to work and
wearing a belt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that my pants fit. Like there's definitely plenty I can do that like bend or move or whatever that a belt just makes sure everything stays where it's supposed to stay.
I think this is coming back around to our zip whip pee conversation.
Maybe.
As a fat guy, like you don't get pants that like just fit really well, There's no like, oh, this is such a nice fit, these pants. No, they're just massive, and you have to have a belt to keep them up because they're not really like, shapely enough to stay on you.
It hugs your ass.
Yeah.
not grabbing hold.
Yeah.
I get it. Next question.
All right. Don Dolan. Find any snacks or chips y'all lately been addicted to? Interesting.
Nothing I would say is like earth-shattering or new or anything.
Henry had a big bag of the animal crackers that are like smooth. You know what I'm talking about? Like the standard ones. I can get down with some of those. Been stealing his animal cookies.
I'm a big fan of Pop-Tart Bites.
What?
Pop-Tart Bites?
What even is that?
They're like essentially like mini Pop-Tarts.
The ratio would be all off.
Get them at the HEBs.
Do you not toast them?
No, you don't. They're like little like bite-sized little things.
What flavors?
They have strawberry and then they have brown sugar cinnamon.
There we go.
The strawberry. It's nowhere near as good as the brown sugar cinnamon.
Correct.
But the like pastry part of it, like the crust part, it's a completely different texture from regular Pop-Tarts. It's almost more of like a shortbread almost. It's softer.
That actually sounds kind of awesome.
I would pick up a box from HEB or curbside or whatever you do, and just try them. I like them.
And they're just in the regular aisle with the Pop-Tarts? All right. I'm going to look for it next time.
Pop-Tarts, they might be kind of off to the side, but they're
throw them in a toaster oven, man. See what happens.
I probably wouldn't do that just with how they are.
See what happens.
What else have I been into lately?
I have fallen for honey roasted cashews. I fucking
I don't know
love
why
that.
that's funny to me.
Honey roasted cashews?
Do you keep them next to your bowl of butterscotch?
And the cinnamon buttons?
What's wrong with that? Y'all like honey? Who doesn't like honey roasted peanuts?
Who's going to say something about where there's
a cashew in a root beer barrel?
Who's going to say something about his Werther's Originals next?
Is Charleston Chews?
My Necco wafers.
Honestly, I think one of the things that associates nuts with old people is that nuts are expensive. And I think the younger you are, the less likely you are to buy nuts. And so, like, the only people who have nuts in their house are like older people.
I habitually snack.
I feel like the cashew specifically feels old people.
I habitually snack on lightly salted almonds, but I would not have said that answer.
You're fine. You're fine.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
We just went from Pop-Tart bites to cashews.
I'm sorry, a slightly more healthy snack than a fucking Pop-Tart.
That's debatable.
Doesn't seem in the spirit of the question.
Fat oils in them.
That's why I said slightly.
I like specifically Zapp's jalapeno. I think Zapp's. The jalapeno chips that come in the aluminum bag with the orange stripes on them. Yeah. I could eat a whole bag of that in one sitting.
Voodoo ones, man. You ever get the
Voodoo's
Voodoo
good.
ones?
I like the barbecue ones.
I've had Voodoo's and I've had Miss Vicky's, I think, but my favorite is still Zapp's. I think those are like a step above most jalapeno chips.
The cracked pepper chips are my favorite of those.
Lately,
I don't think I've had those.
I've been into Julio's tortilla chips.
Julio's tortilla chips.
Yeah, they come with like it's Julio's, right? Bernadette will correct me in chat if I'm wrong. They have a seasoning that's on the chip that's like really good. Yeah,
these are just like chips that you would like dip in salsa, like that kind of
tortilla chips. It's just they come with like a flavoring on them. I guess that's kind of like the Julio trademark.
I think I used those to make my nachos last week.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're delicious.
Sounds delightful.
All right, we can probably move on. Let's do one more question.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna pick. Pretty sure this one's been answered before in the past. Nick didn't mark that one.
Sorry. My bad. My bad.
I will say this. Yeah, like Ash last week. What's y'all's biggest vice? Did you answer that last week?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so anything that's currently marked was I
could ask one of the random questions we got today.
Do that.
All right,
because I don't know which ones have been asked and which ones have not.
All right, this one's relevant, I think.
Y'all got an update on Crispy's lipstick last week?
Yes, we did. Well, there was no update, but yes, we did ask that question. All right, Lemur Dragon. This is a question that was submitted today. Again, we're combing through old questions, so we're jumping around a lot, but we'll eventually get to everyone's question. Lemur Dragon asks, "What is your most nitpicky issues in recent memory?" I'll start. For one, I for one hated Okami for an extremely minor annoyance. During dialogue, every character, including the goddess at the start of the game, do those Banjo-Kazooie style talking sound effects. But they're so high-pitched and grating that I found all the conversation in the game to completely break my immersion and thus stopped. Thanks for all that you do. First of all, that's sad that you put down Okami. I could see why that would be an issue because I mentioned that earlier. I do find that.
Yeah, you literally mentioned that as being annoying earlier.
That actually, I may have read that question earlier. It may have made me think of it. But yeah,
at first I literally thought you were answering the question.
Oh, I didn't intentionally do that, but maybe I just subconsciously remembered that question was asked and it came up.
You plagiarized the answer.
Sure.
Philip Muslin.
I would. So what's your answer then, Brad?
Okami.
No, don't do that.
Like sound effect. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff in Final Fantasy VII that feels kind of nitpicky for me.
Specifically for me with Final Fantasy VII, it's funny because I'm going to mention the slow walking sequences in this game, which obviously didn't bother me in something like Red Dead, but they totally bother me here because there's so many of them. And
because Red Dead, you're a cowboy, and it's all about going slow.
It's all about
you gotta go slow because your ass is chapped from riding in a saddle.
That's right. Probably hurts real bad walking like that. So, but yeah, that bothers me a lot. And also, might be nitpicking, and I've mentioned this before, but like the side quests and most of the side quests, like the optional side quests in Final Fantasy VII, just on a very general baseline level, I find to be really boring. Like so boring that I don't really want to do them. But the good thing is that there's not a ton of them, and they're chronicled really well. When you go to the map and you can tab over, you can see exactly how many are left, and it doesn't feel overwhelming because of that. But yeah, I find them to be totally dull.
But the rewards are usually pretty good.
Which is why I still do them.
Gigamir brings up a good point. Running in Rockstar games, so you have to tap the button to make yourself run faster or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's pretty frustrating. And I think in more, I think even like in Red Dead 2, I think you could change that to be like a press versus a tap.
You want to talk about nitpicking, because obviously I adore a lot of us here adore Red Dead Redemption 2, but like I can't believe they kept the rapidly tapping X to keep the horse.
Well, that's essentially what he's talking about, to keep it galloping.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
So here's the thing, Nick. You don't have to press it as fast as you think.
I know. You really have to just keep it
down. You would actually use the horse's energy less, because I recently was replaying Red Dead, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, whatever. If you tap it in time with the horse's hoofs hitting the ground, you almost use none of the horse's energy, and it will keep them up at that fast pace.
Yeah,
but yeah,
right. I'm just not very good at it, probably, and honestly, I kind of like my brain just kind of like tunes it out, and I just end up without even realizing I'm just sitting here tapping it constantly when I know I don't need to be. It drives me crazy.
It's something I'm gonna bring up I had planned on bringing up in my 4-player minute. I'll bring it up a little bit early first. The multiplayer in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah,
annoying.
Oh, that's a lot of
cutscene to go.
It's not even just that, Nick. You have to go through a cutscene to go to someone else's island, but if someone else wants to come to that island, you have to wait while they go through that cutscene. It's fucking obnoxious as hell. And if you're trying to leave someone's island, but someone has like their menu up, the game won't let you leave. It's fucking atrocious. I'll bring it up a little bit more later. Yeah.
Any other answers you want to throw out there?
Oh.
What?
I said no.
Oh, no. Okay, sorry. And real quick, we do have a new patron this week. The Hairy Yeti is a new patron. I thought I had seen Powerful Musk Ox.
I thought you said that you'd seen a Hairy Yeti before, and that was probably just you looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Okay, never mind. He edited a pledge. Never mind. So he's an existing patron. So yeah, our new patron this week is the Hairy Yeti. So thank you very much. We appreciate any and all pledges. If you're interested in pledging, it's patreon.com/4player.
Muchos Garcias.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
All right. Do we want to do a supporter spotlight? I got one ready for you.
Do it.
We're gonna do it. All right. Our supporter spotlight this week is Kenton, and I think
I know this guy.
For the win.
Kenton FTW from Holland, Michigan. I want to say.
Oh, I thought
Holland. I thought it was like Holland.
Damn it! I was hoping for Holland.
Is that weird?
Holland, Michigan.
All
right. I'm going to start, as I always do, with his top 5 games of all time. Number 5 is Dragon Quest.
8.
Builders 2.
It's 8.
Probably 8.
Yeah.
He says the first Dragon Quest I ever played. I'm sure that's pretty common. That's the first one I played. And honestly, it's one of my favorite RPGs ever. Great characters. I love the power-up system. Great music. Just all-around good RPG. Yeah, I can see that. That game is just really chill and charming.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an easy one to go back to. Number 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't expect to love this game.
I just said Horizon, and maybe it could have been Horizon's Gate.
No.
I assure you, Brett. I didn't expect to love this game like I did, but man, is it hard not to. The battle system is satisfying. Aloy is a great character, and I love the story, even though some people didn't. Yeah, I think it's pretty great. Did anybody else here finish that game?
I did.
Shit, it's been one of my biggest regrets.
I finished it.
Oh man,
Davis finishes everything faster and more than you.
Nolan, you should play that. Brad,
it's on my backlog. I'll get to it.
I played like a half an hour of it. It was fine.
What?
I loved it.
I mean, if they announce another one, I'll probably go back and play the first one.
You basically just gave like the Carlos answer to Nick.
That is
what does that mean? How is that the Carlos answer?
It's like the Nick answer.
What are you talking about?
You played about the equivalent of what Carlos did in playing Days Gone and putting it at the top of his list that year.
But hey,
what?
Let's never forget that Carlos's vote for Days Gone is what put Days Gone onto our 2019 year in review. I gave him 1 point for that. And
you haven't taken my games into account, Nick. Maybe my list would knock it off.
What? I took your listen to it. Wait,
he didn't make a video.
I didn't make a video, but you sent me like your. I took him into account.
Okay,
they're in there.
Let's go.
Number 3, code name.
Steam.
Code name Steam.
Well, there's
it's codename Steam.
Okay. Continue. It could have been codename. Just keep going. Codename Agent 47.
Keep going, and then you stop me. He says, This game has charm, fun mechanics, and everything you could want from an intelligent systems game. Fuck you, GameStop, for offering me $1 for my copy. I kept it. True story. David has, I don't even know, like dozens of this game, and he hands them out like candy to people to get them to play it, and that's dedication. I hope to have a pile of Days Gone that high one day that I can pass out. Number 2, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I probably should have let y'all guess that one. I'm sorry. I just started reading it. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is how you do it. It's how you do a sequel. It takes an already great game and just expands it tenfold into a classic. It's hard not to like this game. That's a game I've never played.
What's number 1?
His number 1 is Diablo
2.
It's Diablo 2. It has a lot of sentimental meaning to me. I spent hours playing with my grandpa. To this day, I get the same amount of enjoyment out of it. Whether it's magic find runs, building new characters, or doing PvP, this game is one of the best of all time.
Yep. It is.
I think Brad would tend to agree. Probably. That was on your list, wasn't it?
Yes, Nick.
Yes. That's what I thought. All right, and let's see. I'll do his. Oh man, I don't want to do his 4-player minute because that'll really show off how long ago he submitted this. So I will do. What is a game that you consider to be underrated that you
dude?
Wait, what?
Nothing. Just go.
Underrated game he would recommend others to play. Codename Steam. I feel like this is underrated because it's not carrying the Fire Emblem name or the Advance Wars name, even though this game is on par and better than some of the intelligent system games. I'm looking at you, Fire Emblem Fates, and should it get the love it deserves. So yeah, there we go. It's come up twice tonight during the supporter spotlight. Obviously, if David was here, he'd be raving about it. Brad loves it. Yeah, I think it's an easy one to recommend. So maybe consider trying Codename Steam. You can probably pick it up on the DS for like $3 or something.
Probably pretty cheap.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you very much for submitting. Again, if you're a supporter on Patreon, you should have access to the supporter spotlight channel in Discord. That will have a pinned message that will take you to this form you can fill out. It's just some simple questions about your taste in games, a little bit about yourself, and we'll pick one at random every week and read a response. So if you are a new supporter and you haven't filled it out yet, go and do so. We'd love to hear from you. And now...
It looks like Codename Steam is available on eBay for around $4. It actually looks like you can buy it from Walmart. So, like, obviously, like new whatever for $10.
Wow.
But I mean, I think picking up used DS games is very viable.
How many copies of that game do they print?
I mean,
at least 7.
And, I mean, we know that David probably owns like half the production amount, so...
David is probably systematically making them think this is like one of the best games they've ever produced, and that it's like a bestseller, so they're just cranking them out. And David's just buying them as fast as they can produce them. All right.
I think they... Well, go ahead. Let's wrap things up with the 4-player minute, Nick.
Well, there you go. You did it. I'll just leave it at that. So,
no, this week I have a sweat, a lull, a thank you, and 2 fuck yous.
That's 5, but go for it.
Hold on, my screen just locked. Yeah, it has the smart unlock. I don't know why it wanted me to. Okay, so my sweat is for the Bloodstained DLC, which came out today. Zangetsu came out. Yep. You know, it's been the whole development of the game has been very troubled, and it's been almost a fucking year since it came out. But they finally got out there Zangetsu DLC along with the randomizer. The reason it's a sweat is because traditionally I have not really enjoyed the bonus characters that you unlock in a lot of Igavanias, because what they always do is they strip out all the interesting and addictive RPG elements. So there's no cool loot or shard system for Zangetsu. It's just basically an action game, and I feel like Bloodstained is not a well designed enough game to be pure action. I think it needs the RPG systems to make it like fun and addictive, and all that variety that you get from all those abilities and stuff. Zangetsu's just probably gonna have a handful of sword moves and stuff, and I'm worried it might get a little old, but we'll see. I mean, that's how it's been. Yeah. My LOL is Evo got canceled this year, obviously. The big fighting game tournament, global fighting game tournament. The LOL part is they're going to replace it with Evo Online, which is hilarious to see, like a world, global fighting game tournament, and they're going to have it be an online thing, which does not work with fighting games. First of all, most fighting games have their net codes not nearly good enough, and where people are going to be playing all over the world, they're going to have laggy matches. You're not going to be able to even stop probably cheating in a lot of cases, or it's just stupid. Just cancel the thing and move on. Why try to do this? It's just stupid.
It's a weird move.
Yeah. My thank you for this week goes to Carlos and Chris Davis. They both bought me nice Steam gifts. Carlos bought me Shield Wall, and Chris Davis bought me Troubleshooter, which are two games that I'm kind of interested in checking out. I might do that on my stream tomorrow, but I will be playing Sakura Wars, so don't worry about that. And maybe trying out Zangetsu. Maybe I'll start a little bit.
I didn't think you were into sports.
Soccer Wars, yeah. I like my football.
Did you play Half-Life Alyx?
Yeah, I've been playing. I'm like 10 hours in.
I was just curious. I didn't think you had a VR, so I wasn't sure.
Wait, that was my thank you last week or the week before.
I wasn't here last week, Brad.
It was my thank you the week before. My fuck you goes to Blackhead Crabs. They're the worst. I don't know if they fuck you guys up like they fucked me up, but they've always fucked me up ever since they were introduced to Half-Life 2. And here, it's so much worse. It's so much worse. I'm shivering when there's one on the other side of a door. I'm shaking. I'm so scared. And I've even had moments where like they're like arms coming through the door, and I'm like holding it shut like a fucking horror movie cliche. But like it is.
What about them is special compared to the regular head?
You only can shoot their stomachs or blow them up.
No, not those. The ones that look like
they're like smoother and they like take more damage. Yeah.
They have spidery legs on like the regular head crabs.
They're a little more aggressive than regular.
Well, so in Half-Life 2, when I don't know if it works like in this one, because it's hard to tell what your life is at any given time. But in Half-Life 2, if one got you, they jumped on you and they got you, you'd be poisoned and you'd be down to like 1 hit point. So if you take one more hit, you basically die. So
that's right.
They weren't just creepy and spidery, but they're very deadly as well compared to a regular head crab. And the situations they set up with these things, like when you had to go down that room and back up and they were climbing all over the wall.
That room. I remember that. Yeah.
It fucked me up so much, dude. And the one that came out of the toilet, which you just missed, Nick. That's a very unfortunate.
I mean, I don't think I missed. I explored that game pretty thoroughly. I don't think I missed
it. In that room, and literally in that room, one came out of a toilet as you were like.
No. I didn't see that. As soon as you start walking, it happens. It's hard to miss. So I'm sure you just forgot about it. But yeah,
I do remember that.
Yeah.
But my final fuck you, of course, goes to Joel.
I knew this was coming.
For stealing my friends and my wedding date and my birth date, I found out. Thanks.
I can't wait to actually tell him about this because I thought this was
thanks, Joel.
Fantastic. For those, I feel like there's further explanation needed for that.
No need. Check my Twitter, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, check. You can find a lot of it on the 4Player Twitter account too. But yeah, it's good stuff. All right.
This is to counteract all the remembered birthday wishes he got today.
Yeah. That's true. I can't wait to tell him about that. I wanted to tell him about it, but I didn't because it was supposed to be a surprise for him later today. So I was like, I can't tell him what's going on. So now I get to tell him. It'd be great. All right, Nolan, you're next.
All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for the Wonderful 101. I'm excited for that. Code started going out. I got mine on Steam, so it's going to be a little while before I get mine to actually play it. But that's exciting. I'm ready to finally finish that game because I never finished it. So I'm excited to play it. My sweat goes to XCOM Chimera Squad. It is not grabbing me like XCOM and XCOM 2 did. I don't know if it's just the style of combat or I don't know. I don't know what it is yet. But it's not
doing
there.
it for you.
Yeah. Maybe it's the quicker pace of combat, the shorter battles are making me care less about my characters or something. I don't know. Like,
I'll tell you this much: the last two XCOM games had way more atmosphere than this thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I feel like that's an important part of XCOM, even the originals.
And I know it's kind of story based, but maybe it changes later in the game. I don't know. Maybe Chris Davis can answer. But in the last XCOM, it seemed like there was a lot more variety in where you were going. You were at like, kind of like shopping centers or a crashed aircraft or the middle of the forest or all this stuff. Whereas this, it's like, oh, you're in warehouse B.
Now the strategy layer sucks too. Like in the last two games, like building up your base. I mean, that stuff was so cool.
Yeah. Now you just pay for squads to hang out in certain areas of the city. I guess that's how I don't know. It's not grabbing me like the previous ones. So I'm worried. I'm not giving up on it yet though. My thank you is gonna go to one of our community members. I don't know how to say their name. Winty Rebel, or maybe it's like Winter Rebel, like short an R. I don't know. In Animal Crossing, allowed me and Bernadette to come to their island the other day to sell turnips for like 500 bells a turnip. Walked away with a cool 2.5 million bells. So that was very nice. Which leads me to my fuck you, which is the Animal Crossing online. When you try to go to someone's island and you get there finally, and then you take 2 steps and it's like someone's coming to the island, and now you have to wait. The game has to save. It shows a loading screen, and then it shows them flying to the island, and then there's another loading screen, and it shows them showing up on the island, and then it finally gets back to you 45 seconds to a minute later. And then you take 2 steps and someone else is coming to the island, and it just keeps fucking going. If you pull out your phone, you can prevent anyone from coming to the island, but then obviously you can't move. So there was multiple times the other day where I just kind of sucked it up and I just stood there on my phone, letting other people kind of do stuff on the island. And I know 100% someone was probably trying to come and to the island. And they just kept trying over and over and getting fail messages. But it's just super frustrating. And honestly, a super easy thing, and I talked about it with Bernadette, for Nintendo to do would have been if someone comes to the island, everything loads, no one else can like travel to the island or leave it for 1 minute. So give 1 minute downtime. The person who's trying to travel there can just be waiting a queue. You don't have to fucking keep pressing X, talking to the fucking dodo birds every 5 seconds. And you'd be like, hey, give us the flight path is booked, and we're working on it. And you just sit there, and then a minute and a half later you go. It would be much better than the horrible experience everyone gets, that the people on the island are constantly getting interrupted. The person trying to travel there is constantly getting failure messages over and over. And likewise for leaving. The fact that I can't leave the island because someone is trying to travel there or someone is in there, it's just like a
sounds like a mess.
And I don't know if or when they're going to fix it. But they really fucking should. And also Animal Crossing terraforming is horrible. So that's my 4-player minute.
Cool. Chris Davis.
Okay, my hype this week goes towards, like I said last week, Maneater. That's coming out on the 23rd. And I don't know, man. Just It's going to be a budget title, but it looks like it's going to be fucking so much fun.
If that game gets even a little bit of positive buzz, I'm probably going to play it.
It looks like so much fun, man.
It looks like fun, but I want to hear it from the
one
people.
Besides Chris Davis.
Somebody besides me. You need a...
Yeah, I want to see some corroboration, and I want to see some non-marketing speak.
You're too close.
If people are playing it and they say it's fun, I'll play it. It looks like a cool concept.
It does. My sweat goes to Desperados 3. And that's mainly because it comes out about 2 days before The Last of Us Part 2.
That was your sweat last week.
Yeah, what are you doing? You can't just
I don't
do that.
It's been 7 days. I've slept since then, okay? But I must reiterate.
It's written down?
No, I don't write these things down. No.
I do.
Oh, why?
I write them down right before I say it.
I just
my hype is for Dragon Age Origins. Oh, did I do that one before?
My thank you.
Keep going.
My thank you this week goes to a company called City Connection. They're working with the developer. I never known how to pronounce her name right. Psycho or Psycho, I don't remember. But they made a bunch of classic 90s arcade shmups, like Strikers 1945. And they've made an agreement to start putting those out on Steam, porting those. And they just announced that Strikers 1945 2 is coming out later this month.
1945. Of course, 1945 is the shoot 'em up series you like. Of course.
What the fuck does that mean? It's a great series.
I think all he's saying is it's a very Chris Davis choice.
I grew up loving shmups. Okay, I'm sorry.
You are a shmup.
Shmups. What a weird name.
And my fuck you this week goes to Tequila Works, the developers of Rime. I don't know if y'all heard this news. We didn't talk about it. But they are threatening legal action against development team. I believe they're called Takes Art. They're threatening them because they say their trees look too much like the trees in Rime.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is your fuck you to Rime? I mean, why is your fuck you to Tequila Works? What if they did steal their trees?
Because they didn't steal their trees. Look, you have to see the pictures. Like, they're... Sure, they look similar. It's something...
I mean, it's a tree. First of all, it's one thing to, like, steal assets. It's another thing to, like...
They're not
come up with original art that just happens to be... I mean, but, the line is blurry. The line is blurry.
You could make those in a tutorial in Unity in 5 minutes. Like, come the fuck on. You're suing somebody over trees? Like, fuck you.
I mean...
The developer says he had...
Technically over assets. Over assets.
It's a fucking tree, man. Even if you...
matter.
I will make the judgment. I will look at these screenshots later. But for now, we need to move on.
Yeah, just... Fuck Tequila Works. Just fuck.
How about fuck Tequila Works for making a bunch of mediocre games?
Oh, Jesus. That was brutal.
I forgot another fuck you.
Okay.
To the 3.5-foot rattlesnake that was in my backyard.
Oh yes.
I fucking walk out in my backyard at 5 p.m. on Sunday, and I'm walking to go get the pooper scooper to clean up after my dogs, and there's just a fucking 3.5-foot chunk of a fucking rattlesnake in my backyard.
That was a beefy snake.
It was at least, like, I don't know, circumference. At least fucking 8 inches in circumference. It was fucking huge.
I've lived in Texas my entire life. I have never seen a rattlesnake.
I've seen them
in the wild.
Okay. I wouldn't call my backyard the wild. But...
Well, I mean, it's not in captivity. That came from the woods.
Yes, it is a free roam rattlesnake.
Free reign.
Thankfully, my dogs happened to be on the other side of the house. Honestly, the spot where the rattlesnake was is one of Butter's favorite places to pee and also poop. And thankfully, he just happened to run the other way that day. So I quickly convinced the dogs to get back inside. And then I stood outside for over half an hour staring at it, waiting for a guy to come.
And it never moved? Like, I never was just like, nah, fuck this, and left?
Its head moved a little bit, like kind of watching me. But yeah, and we just waited, and a guy came, and he had the pincers, and he picked it up, and he put it in a bucket. It was like...
Cool. And did he put his teeth on the thing to drain the poison? I mean, he wouldn't have done that, but I love that.
A little bit. No, but he put it in the bucket, whatever. And the thing was, we were kind of talking about it, and he was kind of talking with us and stuff. He'd actually picked up another rattlesnake earlier that day, and then he unscrewed the lid to show, because he was like, "Yeah, you can look at him, whatever. He's not gonna like jump out." And so he unscrews the lid, and we're kind of looking at him, and the snake kind of starts to slither up a little bit, and so he just starts pushing its head back down with his little like rod, and then after we talk and look at, he goes and he starts screwing the lid back on, and you could hear the snake strike the lid. It was and like it hit the lid, and the lid shook a little bit as he was putting it on.
Cool. Yeah, I got a quick snake story.
Okay.
Yesterday, we let the dogs out in the backyard. It was at night, kind of close to bedtime, and we heard Hyde go, "Arr!" And we're like, "Oh shit! What if he got bit by a snake or something?" And then I was just laying on the couch looking at my phone, and Malia's like, "Well, you gonna go check on him?" There's a snake out there.
That was your story?
So what? If it was Manti, you would have gone and checked, but fuck Hyde?
Oh, no, I don't think he was bit by a snake. He's a very yelpy dog.
You don't know the answer yet?
No, well, I mean, he's still fine.
Well, so the funny thing is that's actually something we talked about with the guy. Is like a lot of the times when snakes bite, they're dry bites. Like they don't inject venom. They just kind of do it to kind of essentially a get away from me kind of type thing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time, he was like, if I were to get bit by a rattlesnake, I would probably not like rush to the ER. It's one of those things where you kind of wait a little bit and kind of see how it goes. He said that. He's like, but in reality, I don't know what I'd actually do. Like, you're not in that situation. But I mean,
I feel like someone in your position should already have a game plan in place.
Well, like I said, like, I mean, in all honesty, like, you're not going to die from a rattlesnake bite in 5 minutes. You know, it's not one of those things where as long as you can, he said he can tell if there's any venom in there, but who knows? I don't know. But he's saying it's very common to have like dry bites, especially like on animals and stuff. Yikes. Bernadette says no. I know we were talking about dogs. So Bernadette says rush to the ER right away. Bernadette says suck out the venom. She's like calling me. I think it's like giving out bad information.
She said that's not what he said. She's calling you out.
I was pretty sure that rattlesnakes are pretty deadly.
Should I do my 4-player minute now?
Please.
Okay.
He's literally... This is happening.
She says, go to the hospital right now.
Bernadette says...
Go to the hospital right now.
Stop. No, don't do that. Literally, Nolan, don't do that. Thanks, okay. Bernadette.
I once took an Imodium in front of her and she almost tackled me.
I think what she was saying was the guy was saying if your dog gets bit, don't like rush it to the vet right away. I think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying if you get bit, probably go to the hospital right away. But she's saying if a dog gets bit, you don't need to take it to the vet right away because it could have been a dry bite. And he said he does like kind of wait and see. He also said depending on the size of your dog. If you have like a Chihuahua, maybe take that to the vet. But like a larger dog would probably be okay.
Noted. All right.
Also, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not the boss. If you get bit by a snake, feel free to go to the hospital, man. No. Don't be like, Nolan, sit. Don't go.
This is how people work. You know, all your life, you look back on like the history of like the decisions you make, and sometimes there's that decision where it's like, well, that one dude way back then told me that one thing, and I've been living my life based on that one dude's thing for the you know, little things, right?
Yeah, like going to the hospital when you get bit by a rattlesnake.
What I was saying is there are going to be people who are watching this podcast right now who like fucking 5 years from now might get bit by a snake and might go, well, Nolan said. Nolan seems like he has a good head on his shoulders.
Dude, if I got bit by a snake, I would go to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not crazy.
Don't panic and go to the hospital.
But you just recommended against that.
Yeah.
4-player minute, guys. I still have a 4-player minute to do.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed.
My hype this week.
Not as I don't do.
My hype this week. I don't know when I'm gonna play this, but I picked up Pathologic 2 because it was on sale on Steam. And this game looks like it's fucked up. It's right up my alley. I've heard people say good. It's kind of a weird game, but it has a pretty solid fan base. So I'm pretty excited to play it.
There's no way. If Nick,
you challenging me?
I'm challenging you. There's no way. You're gonna start this thing up, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I know. I can't wait. That's what I'm excited about. I mean, I got it for like $15, I think. So, and it's usually like $30. So, you know what? I'm gonna try it. Worst that can happen is that I think it's weird and I don't like it.
It's also on Game Pass.
But I'm excited to try it. My sweat this week goes to Subnautica. What's the DLC? The
Frozen.
Whatchamacallit?
Wasteland.
Like, what the fuck? Like, they keep giving these updates. Like, when the fuck is the full game gonna drop? I'm like ready to play this.
No, but that's how it was with
Below Zero is what's called.
Yeah, they keep doing these big updates, named updates, right? And it's like, fuck, put out the game. Hades does that shit all the time too, right?
Drives me crazy.
I'm still waiting on the final release of Hades, but they're always like, the big update's coming out. And it's like, fuck you.
Early access is the worst thing to happen in the video game industry.
Wow.
It's terrible. My thank you this week goes to the Alamo Drafthouse. Alamo Drafthouse partnered with a app development company to put together a video on demand streaming service where you can buy and rent movies that are all curated and recommended by people that work at the Drafthouse. And it's a great way to like support their business while they're obviously shut down and not able to show movies. And I already went through their list of movies that they have on there so far, and I've found a bunch that I want to watch. So I'm going to be renting movies through that for a while. One of them is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. That is on Hulu, but I'm going to rent it through Drafthouse so I can support the Drafthouse. It's like $3 to rent it, and I'm supporting the Drafthouse. That's pretty exciting. So,
well they also said that there's going to be like a Master Pancake on there too.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have Master Pancakes on. They have a whole bunch. They have a lot of their like Weird Wednesday and Terror Tuesday stuff on there, as well as some new releases. So it's a pretty cool thing if you like the Drafthouse and you want to support them right now. Like, pretty cool way to do so. And let's see, what is something else? And my hype, I'll do another hype, is to play more Okami. That game is such a fucking delight. And after playing the first 4 or 5 hours again, I had forgotten just how much it has in common with something like Zelda. But it's just so fresh and unique and beautiful, especially now. It's like aged remarkably well. I can't wait to play more of it. Yeah, it's a fucking beautiful game, especially when you're playing in like 4K and stuff. It's awesome. So can't wait to play more of it. Also, the soundtrack in that game is godly. It's fantastic. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it. That's our show. Big thanks to ChaiThai for joining us at the beginning of the show to talk about Streets of Rage. Really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. And of course, if you're interested in supporting the show, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. You can find us on Discord at discord.gg/4Player. And of course, you can catch our streams on twitch.tv/4Player podcast. But for now, we're signing off. We'll see you guys next week to talk about more video games. And be safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.